You're not singing, Phil, on the
No,
podcast. Phil is not allowed to sing on the podcast.
I'm not allowed to sing.
PRS.
What do you mean you're not allowed? I don't think you can. You sing?
No.
We've seen the letter in the league express as well from Matt Leeds fan.
I don't know, but if it's about you, we'll be reading it out. Don't worry about that.
Oh, it is, yeah, it's pathetic. Look.
Hold on a second.
Look.
Calm down. Welcome to our listeners in Mexico. Where were we big this week, Rich?
Yeah.
Kazakhstan.
Well, we'll find out. I'll check my email.
Pathetic.
Check your email. No lights on, that's quite blind.
Do you want me to turn it off?
No, you can leave it
At
on.
Leeds to win this week.
I was hoping it would. It doesn't have the focus issue. So my phone won't autofocus. I don't know why. But if you want professional, broadcasting,
Yeah.
you know where you can go. But they're only on for an hour.
Alright, okay. Fair enough. Welcome along. This is 4020 Live. We've got a special guest with us this week as well. We'll talk more about that later. But you are you're present for a moment of history, really. On Friday, the legend Gary Schofield finally got his hands on a major trophy. So all those people that abuse him, saying that he was a good player but he never won anything.
Oh, a good player.
Steady away player, never won anything. He is now the proud owner. Be careful, Phil. Don't be. It's heavy, that.
He didn't put it back on.
It's
properly.
heavy. You've got a bit of OCD, have you?
Didn't want it to fall over.
We are now the proud owners here on 4020 Live. Although we slipped up really because you didn't. I don't think we gave the right team name in, did we? But we are now the proud owners at 4020 Live of the Bolton Wanderers ex-players golf trophy. That basically I won for the team with a bit of help from a couple of others. Schoey were there doing a John Terry.
Bolton Wanderers. Bolton.
Was it to raise proceeds for the club?
Yeah.
No, but I'm glad we didn't win the raffle because I think that would play at left back for the season.
Could have won the stadium.
Thankfully, we didn't win that. Schoey did a full John Terry, basically did bugger all to help the occasion, but went and collected the trophy on our behalf. Have you got anything you want to say, Led?
Well, I think that's a bit harsh, and to be honest with you, Matt, as we keep saying on this show many times, there's no I-ing team, and we was a team, and if you want to tell all our listeners and all our viewers on Facebook and YouTube as well, just let us know what did you do on the first tee? Exactly what I did at Celtic Manor. What did you do on the first tee?
I don't think you did. Did it go that far?
Well, I'll tell
did
people.
Did it go 10 yards?
Exactly what I did at Celtic Manor. You knobbed it off the first tee. But
what made it worse? I did it again on the second shot.
Yeah, well, exactly. So you're giving it the big licks that it was you who won the trophy. But I think
I did that. In fairness to listeners, I did then follow up with 13 parts, which I think that's pretty good.
Hold on. You had 2 double bogeys and 2 treble bogeys, so that's it's a good thing. But anyway, we was a team. Liam, the other team member, was good. Carl as well, who was excellent from there, and I came in myself on a few holes, but also too, I think it was my inspirational talking. The one-on-ones with the lads going round, bit of a pep up when it needed for the team from there. So I felt as though the game management, Phil, it got us over that line. But I tell you what, I must say,
I can't understand why you're not coaching.
Well, Phil, I must say as well, we finished up on 101 points, and Sam Allardyce, as we know, Sam, he's a great character, and his team was playing in front of us, and we were waiting on every hole, on every shot to play. And do you know what? They came in with 97 points. I don't really think there might have been a little bit of rubber on the account. But hey, listen, we managed to win 100 points, and there we go. Yes. At last, I'm a champion.
Any Arab sheikhs following Sam round?
Whoa! He's a friend of the show. What are you on about?
Good evening, Sam.
He's a friend of the show.
Hey, I tell you what, he
David wants to know if you've qualified for the Irish Open.
Do you know what? You know what Ballymena is? That in Ireland?
Yes.
I've had a phone call today from Ballymena this afternoon, and I never answered it. I've had a phone call today. You could well be right, actually. Yeah. I must admit that I supped enough Guinness yesterday up in Whiteham to say I might be from Ballymena, but Big Sam, he left his driver on one of the tees anyway. So
what did you do?
So we picked it up. We picked it up here anyway. So I thought I'm going to have a go at this. It looked like about £500 tailor-made driver. It's absolute peace anyway. Where did it go? Hey, straight out of bounds. I thought, well,
so maybe another go.
Maybe first time. So second one, straight again. I said he can stick this £500 driver exactly where the sun shines. Anyway, so when we're going down from there, he's waving. I thought, oh Jesus Christ, the Bilal lad's not going to get a tailor-made here. But I was just going to give him my driver, which is an old Donny driver worth about £2.50.
Do they still make Donny?
But he said, yeah, I've got Donny clubs. If there's a sponsor out there who wants to sponsor me some golf clubs, hey, listen, I've got a few golf days coming up. I'll be more than delighted to purchase the golf clubs from you. But he came there, and I was going to give him the tailor made with a Donny one, but I thought, no, I'll just leave it alone from there. But no, it was a great day, and we managed to win it, and here we go. There you are.
What does it feel like to finally win a major trophy?
To be honest with you, I was very nervous, and when I was giving the speech, and I'm not used to picking up trophies, and I was really, Mark, honestly, I was really nervous for. I'm not used to picking up trophies. The only trophy that's been picked up, it was the Yorkshire Cup, and I was never captain at Hull. I wasn't captain at Leeds at the time because Crooksy was the captain, so yeah, I was pretty nervous. But delighted, and we all contributed as a team, Mr. Wilson.
We did.
And amazing.
Congratulations.
Your speech was fantastic.
Not only between us have we got 46 Great Britain caps, but we've got as many majors between us as Colin Montgomery.
We are. We are.
Another friend of the show.
Knows Nolan.
Yeah, anyway, whoever was phoning me from Ballymena today, just leave a voicemail, and if you want me to do something for you, just leave a nice message. If you don't, if you want me for something else, leave it alone.
They probably need to talk to the team before they go out.
So.
Psychology.
We should basically. Rich and I have black armbands on because Leeds in crisis is officially died now.
Yeah, they're staying up.
Not even
Leeds are staying up. All Leeds are way in it.
We're not going to be talking about that, are we?
No. Wakey in crisis, so I might talk about that. Cass in crisis. Not Huddersfield, they won this week.
Huddersfield were great.
Salford, are they teetering on the edge?
Salford and Wakefield?
London were bloody awful on Saturday. First half. Oh, for God's sake. The only thing that was worse than London's performance was the fact that Danny Ward admitted he watches Love Island. I just thought,
maybe that's why it was such a bad performance.
Well, they were better second half, in fairness, but job done. Luther Burrell made his debut.
Also, as well, Steve McNamara must listen to the show because he did the right thing. Dropped Marty Smith. Hey,
did he drop him or was he injured?
He's got to be dropped, surely. Could go if he didn't know. He's got to be dropped. And look what and the Catalans.
Does he run fast enough to get in?
They're just a totally different side.
They scored 2 or 3 glorious tries.
The combination between the halfbacks. Sangin between the line, he looks absolutely more with a smile on his face on there. Good early service on there, and the forwards.
Gisho worked, didn't he?
Yeah, the forwards got ripped in. So Macca, well done, son. You did the right thing. You saved yourself your job. You dropped Matty Smith, and to me, he shouldn't play again for the Catalans. Not good enough.
I like the idea he's watching the programme and getting tips.
No, it might be. Hull, woeful at home. What were they? 40-0 down. Scored a couple of late tries, and an angry Lee Radford after. We'll have a chat about that as well.
Do we reckon that Warrington secured second? I think 6 points clear now of Hull. And
no.
Still think
well,
there's mileage.
I don't know if they still have to play Hull, but they've got to play Saints. They've got to play Wigan. By the way, I mentioned this on. I was at the DW. Schoey and I were there on Friday after our joint stay at the golf.
That in?
Oh, we did. Yeah, we paraded it around the field. We were there and whisper it quietly. Well, that was a performance of a team that might just be going back to Old Trafford. They were brilliant on Friday. For all the stick I've given them plenty. Fair play. Absolutely brilliant. Defensively, unbelievable. Attacking wise, they were back on it. They are a threat. They're
George Williams' best game of the season.
Yeah, played well. Farrell outside him looked destructive.
Hardacre at full back looks something like he's getting back to his best, didn't he? But also as well, mate, and I've said it today in the column, I think that the big thing now for Wigan is simple, and the players, they know now exactly what's happened. They've got over the shenanigans of the Sean Wayne situation.
He was there with anyone.
He didn't have an affair with Tony Smith.
Yeah, he was there. He had a picture taken with Tony Smith. I had a chat with Tony Smith. Nobody took a picture with me with Tony Smith, to be honest with you. But anyway,
did you have a chat with Sean?
That's a different story. No,
I couldn't. I said he's downstairs. What I
was eating my pie. I was eating my pie at the time. You know that. And anyway, but the shenanigans what's gone on over at Wigan for the last 12 months. I think you can see that now. That's all gone. The Sean Wayne scenario, the shambles of the Sean Edwards situation, Adrian Lamb now, and the players are quite simple. Yet we know we steady the ship's from there. Hopefully Lammy will get the job from there. But that performance from Friday night, as Mark mentioned, it was sensational, both in attack and defence. And even the last attack from Hulkis to Rovers, what was about 5 seconds ago, there was 5 Wigan players just literally desperate to making sure that Hull PR didn't score. And we all know the DNA, don't we, of the Wigan defence and their attitude and the philosophy and the desires from the Maguire days, followed on by Sean. And now, on Friday night, both with ball in hand and defensive-wise, sheer quality.
Can they beat St Helens this week? Are they playing that well enough?
Phil, don't rule it out. Don't rule it out, mate. And I say it was George Williams' best performance for absolute ages, because what George did, rather than just waiting for the ball, from the point of view trying to kick in some silly kicks in from there. No, he got himself away from the ruck area, stood himself nice and deep. His creativity was brilliant, his variation was very good. Liam Fowler looked as though he was 22 years of age again. He looks totally injury free. Hardacre getting back to his best. The forwards absolutely got ripped in, and the pace what they've got in the centres and on the wings with the service what they got, it was just a sheer quality performance for 80 minutes, both on defence and attack.
And it is all about timing. If they're coming into form in round 21, then they're going to get the week off, aren't they, for the semi-final?
Yeah.
Which Warrington and Hull above them and St Helens aren't, so...
Ominous. Very ominous. We've got quite a lot of stuff to discuss, I think. I want to start by talking about Daryl Powell's new deal at Castleford. Great news for Cass, as is Liam Watts signing, by the way. That is good news for Cass.
And Sosaya Feki.
And
who's a good signing for next year.
Yeah, good signing for next year, but
You seem a bit...
Schoey and I were a bit... I don't know. I had it in my head that it was going to move on. I'm just not convinced anymore where Castleford are.
Well, I'm just going to say to you, Matt, you seem surprised that he's staying for this long, and would that be the right thing to say?
Yeah, because
That'll
I'm not...
take him to 10 years, won't it? Which is a long time.
Look, I'll go back to the point. He built the team to win it in 2017, and they didn't win it. Whatever, eggs is eggs, it's happened, we can't do what about it. They could still qualify for the playoffs this year. I'm not so sure they will. I don't know where Cass are going at the minute. I look at their team and I wonder if their time has been and gone.
The interesting thing on Friday night at the Jungle was that in the first 20 minutes they had enough possession to build a handy lead. And whilst we're not talking about their opposition, they did defend their line extremely well. But it was almost as if collectively, once they hadn't scored in that period of time, Cass lost their way. Now, they obviously didn't have their first choice halfbacks, but they had enough players out there who are top quality players who, with that amount of possession, should have done more with it.
Yeah.
And I think that 20 minutes was where the game was won and lost. The line speed of the team they were playing was very good. And it was almost as if because
tell us which team they were playing.
No, we're not talking about.
No, Phil, it's our team.
I just done it for City on the way over. As soon as Truman wasn't playing, I couldn't have Cass.
But I think it wasn't so much that. It was that moving up and getting in the faces of their forwards caused them to make errors, and there wasn't a plan B. Now, when Liam Watts isn't breaking through the line, and when Paul McShane isn't stepping off either foot, there was nothing. I thought Mike McMeekin played very well for them.
He seems to be getting his form back, doesn't he?
But he was like the lone man who holding the ball in one hand, looking for guys to run onto it, getting it out of the tackle, and other than that, they didn't offer very much.
Well, an interesting one as well is that what I've seen from there, because Corey Aston played on Friday night, but it looks like he's going to London, so it looks like he's not wanted, isn't it? As well, which again.
We've
he's had a few opportunities and not taken them, has he? To be honest.
Got a conspiracy theory from Anthony.
Go on.
We know Castle's best half-back, isn't he? We'll talk about her in a bit. Powell signing the next station is just to protect Castle's interest. Leeds will need to pay more compo now. Get a compo.
They won't pay anything.
If he were moving, he wouldn't have signed the deal, would he?
I think the way that worked was there were some discussions with Leeds. There will have been a price put on him. He will have gone back to Castleford and said, I am available to sign a new contract, but this is what I've been offered elsewhere. And Castleford presumably gave him the offer that he wanted. So that's it. He's now at Castleford.
You're not saying that Daryl Powell has played the market.
I hope he has. I really hope he has. That's what all the players he deals with do.
Yeah.
We're going to okay, aren't they?
By the way, what I want to do this week, because we've got quite a few nice reviews on our podcast last week, which is excellent because that helps us. We still don't know how these things work, but we're learning. We need more reviews. So what we're going to do, everyone, are we going to say everyone? How many copies of your mag have you got downstairs from last time?
New issue out this week.
New issue. It's your birthday, isn't it?
It's our 8th birthday issue.
8th birthday. Right.
Happy to give some away.
Are we? How many?
That's how many reviews we get.
Alright, send us a review. We'll have to limit it though to the first 20. I don't want to be sending out 10,000 free copies. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not my magazine to give away, is it? But
we'd like
if you can leave us a review, and as long as it's a nice one, it doesn't have to be 5. We'll go 10. I'll pay 10. For the rest. We'll go 10. You leave us a review, a nice one. You can say whatever you want, but on iTunes. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Screenshot us, send it in.
Basically,
we'll
we want
send you a
to,
magazine.
At least once this week be above Matty Johns. And that's the aim.
Yeah,
we're consistently third. I know there's another one that sometimes pops above us, but as people learn in this industry, it's easy to start doing a podcast. It's easy to promote doing a podcast. I remember getting a press release at the start of the season about the Women's Rugby League podcast, of which there's been one episode. Nice of them to send me that email. But it's much easier to do all that. It's much harder to do it consistently.
We finished?
I've had for about 5 years. Apart from when we did, remember when we did the Rugby League on Radio Show, All Sports Show, when we were told not to do Rugby League anymore.
Yeah.
And that lasted about a week.
You're digressing now. You're moving off.
Yeah,
so leave us a nice review. Yeah, that's what we want. A nice review.
Ian's complaining. Why are you not talking about Leeds? You're quick to talk about them with your Leeds in crisis now.
Oh,
Leeds in crisis.
Ian, bloody hell. Yeah, they won. Yeah.
Well, give them credit.
Trent
Merrin.
I think I did say they'd win last week. I think that's one of I think I only got 2 right this week. I did say. I think
that's what Leeds by. Did I say Leeds by 10? I think. Yeah.
Well done, you.
And I've got a Leeds fan mourning in the.
Go on. You can get stuck in about this. Then is it abusing you, the letter? What's the beauty of all that?
The letters,
ladies.
Concussion.
I'm getting aggressive. Yeah. So it's a letter just in there from somebody called Jason Degnan from Leeds. Gary, say it again. Week in, week out, Gary Schofield has a go at the Rhinos. Well, to be honest with you, Jason, how crap have we been? To be honest with you? If you don't think we've been crap, get you sent to a well-known bloody opticians. Even when they win, he's still saying they're in big trouble. Hold on, they beat Catalans, and this week I tipped in to win by 10, so get your facts right, son. It's sour grapes. What about this? It's sour grapes, Gary, because you have never been asked to coach Rhinos. Oh, please. Get up there, Jason, will you? Thank you very much.
The letters page in the paper.
Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Is that alright? Have you finished?
I've done.
You all seem to be a bit angry today.
No, I've done.
I don't know what's going on. Everyone seems a bit angry.
No, happy day. Hey,
or a bit fatigued.
No. Well,
I think it's too much.
Have you over celebrated? Because I heard rumours that you were falling over drunken last night. Is this true? Or?
No, not really. That was in confidence. That conversation we had before we came here.
Also, it did happen. So he's admitted live on the show. He fell over.
It were like I were playing. What's that game called where you spread all over the place? Twister. Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, clothes on.
Somewhere him in.
He won't have done.
Somewhere in my hotel room, I finished up like Twister. But anyway, that's another story. But I just want to say thanks to.
Goes on tour, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I just want to say to Alan at the Chase Hotel for the hospitality they gave me in Whitehaven as well yesterday. Brilliant atmosphere, good. Unfortunately, the game spoiled it because if I've got to say, fellas, I was so looking forward.
Top of the table clash.
Top of the table clash.
1,100 people.
Absolutely, good atmosphere as well. I was looking forward to a good quality game of rugby league in the League One, but I've got to say, fellas, it was absolutely garbage. It was garbage, and even Scott Naylor about his players, he's just literally ripped into them from a point of view where we can't play. And yesterday it was such a boring game, and also two of the mistakes from these so-called professional players. And if I'm honest with you, if I was giving it points out of 10, I couldn't give it more than 3. But apart from that, the hospitality and everything else.
Did you get frisked on the way out of the hotel, or was everything?
No, mate. Actually, Alan gave me some. What's the word I'm looking for? Some souvenirs. Some gifts. He gave me some lovely beer mats. Yeah, with the chain.
Have you brought any in from the table of tap?
No, well, the quality. They're not going on the table of tap. No. The quality. Actually, yeah, I'll bring a couple in because they're green. I'll bring a couple in. We'll advertise the hotels. If anybody's going up to Whitehaven, hey, listen, I can fully recommend the Chase Hotel at Whitehaven. Great personnel and all his staff. But I just want to say again to the chairman, Gary, from there, and all the directors and everybody, yeah, great hospitality, great afternoon. But unfortunately, the Rugby League spoiled it. But hey, listen, a win's a win. Whitehaven got the win and 2 points clear at the top of the league.
Disappointingly, you don't have match ratings for League One in the League Week because they have the rating out of 5 for all the rest. Well,
to be honest with you, most of the players wouldn't have got above 4. That's how bad it was.
That's a bit harsh.
Mate,
it's all about winning, mate. It's all about winning. If they win the league, no one's bothered how they play against Oldham.
I agree. A win's a win, and that's it. But there wouldn't be too many who would have got above 4. It was absolute dire. But anyway, top of the league.
Compensation for Cumbria not having a World Cup game.
Which, as we explained last week, why they haven't got one. But
gone.
Letters pages anyway. Letters page and tonight League Express is a disgrace. Leeds okay, but cast rubbish, says Matt. Half decent side would have beaten Leeds comfortably. Side with halfbacks would have beaten Leeds comfortably, perhaps.
Who played at halfback?
Rankin, was it?
No, it was. I think Matauti. I think they
Rankin moved to fullback
on the yeah. So no fullbacks, Cass.
Okay.
Trent Merrin, he's a proper captain. He should have been leading the Rhinos as soon as he stepped off the plane.
Well, I think he had some issues to resolve himself, particularly back home, some personal issues, and now he feels settled. He clearly is the real deal.
He is.
I think that correspondence is slightly unfair on Leeds. I thought they defended magnificently, which is something that they haven't been doing very well this year. So there's been a turnaround, which you can read about in an interview with Richard Agar in the new issue of.
Richard Agar, is he going to get the job?
He's certainly there till the end of this season.
Right.
One of the things he does say in this interview, which is very frank, I have to say, is that he doesn't feel any pressure at the moment because he knows he's not auditioning for any job. And if Kevin Sinfield said next week we found somebody to do the job, he'd be quite happy and go back to doing what he originally came to do. So I think he's enjoying himself. He genuinely is looking a week at a time. He's preparing the team on a weekly basis against the specific opposition they're playing. And I don't think even he's looking further than that. He mentions about signings, if he's asked for who they should sign for next year, and obviously Reece Martin made his debut, he'll give an opinion. If he isn't asked, he's not bothered. So he is coaching without pressure.
He needs some PR though, doesn't he? Because for whatever reason,
he says he doesn't, because he's not looking for fame.
No, but if you,
No, he's not. But
I mean,
he gets hammered rather unfairly, I think.
Yeah.
He gets hammered. That is a.
Well,
he's a coach that everyone likes to dislike. Not hate's a strong word. Dislike.
I think the interesting thing is that all of the players he coaches, and Merrin's come out in the papers today saying he'd be
speak highly of him.
Very, very high, and I think that means more to him than the opinion of people that don't know what goes on in clubs and what resource you've got to deal with.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's always been great in the media whenever I've spoken to him, so I'm pleased for him.
So I think he's there for the remainder of this year.
Okay,
but.
Huge game this week. I mean, we're talking about us all as safe, but if
they
don't win this week,
they're back in it.
We're back in the mire again. We'll have a chat about that later on. Do you think Agar will get the gig long term?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he wants it, to be honest with you. But still, he's got it. I've spoken to Richie myself. And he's a good guy, and all he's doing, as Phil's mentioned, and he said it himself, he's taking it week by week from there. But does he really want the top job? I'm not convinced, mate, to be honest with you. But at this moment in time, he's enjoying what he's doing. He's getting a tune out of the players, and one thing for sure, what the players are doing, they're giving him the respect what they deserve, and he's getting a tune out of them. It's as simple as that.
I think we all know he comes from absolute diamond rugby league stock, and I think that's what he's passionate about: the sport, not necessarily being a head coach in the sport. His other major passion is development. He likes to develop players. And he's now on a pathway where he can.
What's this
also
as well? Because I was surprised at that. I was surprised at that one. But what's this guy from Featherstone going to bring for us? What's he going to bring?
Well, the official line.
So I'm of course Leeds have got. There's Robbie Burrow there. There's Chev Walker.
Well, Rob only does
Tom
for
Dickinson
19s.
there.
There's only two of them.
Kevin Sinfield, he's on the coaching staff.
Officially, there's Richard Agar and Chev Walker.
Is there somebody at the door?
Is it
somebody at the door?
Is it Brian?
Eh? This isn't Brian, is it?
He's got more time on his hands now.
Hold on. It's John Davidson. We should do it like the football. Let's have a big hello to John Davidson. Hello! Yeah, he's here.
They're doing some questionable comedy because Curry's the
is he on the screen? I can't see.
He should be.
He should be. You alright, John Davidson?
I'm a bit stressed, but okay, yeah.
Are you a bit stressed?
What,
are you going to do some work?
Yeah, I've been off talking to Super League players about mental health and whatever, and then battling Leeds traffic, and then trying to file for national papers. But job done.
Job done. Well done. You've been on fire recently with some of your articles, so if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
And you've had a bit of an expose today, haven't you? I think in the old League Weekly.
Yes, it'll be in the iPaper tomorrow as well.
We already retweeted it.
Yes, it's very interesting. I think Phil has obviously heard a little bit about it as well, but there's been some talks about private equity coming into making an investment in the Super League. Obviously, very early stages, but I mean, imagine there's not any big figures being talked about.
Is this what's happened in rugby union, isn't it? I think
exactly. Yeah, they put 230 million quid into rugby union for a 30% stake in Premiership Rugby, which worked out to be 13.5 million per club, as well as I think 25 million into the head office essentially, and then they've also put I think trying to buy 30% of the Six Nations for 500 million. Obviously Super League would be much, there's been no figures mentioned, it would be much lower, but I mean even if it was 20 or 30 or 40 million, you know, it could be a huge
Yeah.
game changer for the sport.
The one thing about private equity, though, is that it won't allow things to stay as they are.
No.
It's coming in to make an investment for change, and it will want a return on that investment at some stage. So it needs to see the value of a sport. It needs to see that it's worth investing in the longish term rather than getting an instant return. But there's absolutely no question, if it is a private equity company, all of the debates we've had about the sport going back to franchising, what Super League might have to look like, which clubs in which geographical areas make the sport bigger than it currently is, all of that will be on the table if a private equity firm gets involved.
And I think that the people who have been, obviously there's been meetings with Super League itself and with some of the clubs, so that, you know, it's not just the one meeting.
Have they approached us or have we approached them?
I'm not 100% sure on that, because obviously one of the mandates, I think, and one of the things that Robert Elson has been talking about is bringing in new revenue and increasing investment. So I'm not sure which way that has happened, but what I was told, these people who have been in the meetings, who are representing, you know, an investor, are very impressive, and they know that the sport has challenges. They know the pros and cons. So I mean, looking from the outside in, because obviously, as you said, rugby union, MotoGP, Formula 1, football have all had private equity investment. Rugby league's quite cheap to buy in when you think about it. You know, it's not like football where you might need a few billion just to get one or two top clubs. You know, you could
have the whole sport.
You could have the whole sport for maybe, So it's obviously early days, but you know, it's a positive.
It is.
Yeah.
Very good. Have you seen Schoey's new trophy? Have you won that?
I haven't. Is that the only trophy you won in your career?
Don't you start.
Yeah? You'd be nervous anyway Thursday because we're going to knock you out of the World Cup of the cricket.
Well, I had a funny instance the other week. I was taking my son to school on the day of the last England-Australia game, and this teacher offered me some sandpaper as I walked past, and I just sort of, no, I'm all right. And then I walked in the next day when we thrashed you, and I can't hear anything. So I think is it the song that you only sing when you're winning? I think that's Schoey's.
Oh, do me a favour.
Some band from school.
Warren and Smith should be playing in the World Cup.
Schoey, how many World Cups has England won in cricket?
None.
All right.
Just wait in a couple of weeks, we'll be off.
Just wanted to check that. I think we've won 5.
Yeah, well, if you win this one, you've won it cheating.
We're jumping on the netball bandwagon next
like
week.
George Burgess.
Go on the netball.
Right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
Greg Eden's pass, that was good. And he got called out by his coach as well.
Yes.
He's got in him.
Not so much a Wally Lewis, more a Wally.
Yeah, that's what I went with.
Was it as bad as... I haven't seen it. Was it as bad as Cassiano's?
No, what
did he do?
It was on a par. There were 8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Cass had scored 2 tries in quick succession, they had a chance of finishing the game strongly, maybe even winning it. Eden got the ball on his own 20.
From the kick-off?
I think it was just for a general kick.
Yeah.
And he decided that he would throw it as far as he could to chase Blair on the other wing.
Right.
He didn't get near him.
So he ran across the field and
No, he didn't run. He just passed it. He thought he could do a 40-metre speed.
And he just went to ground, legs picked up and scored.
Well, it was forward and from the scrum.
Right.
Rob Louis.
Yeah, cheers, Greg.
Is he trying to get away from Castleford? The way he's playing.
Well, I don't know.
He's going away by right, isn't he?
They've got more wingers next year than they have anything else.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting rid of a few, aren't they? They're getting rid of a few. What do we make of this news that the Championship clubs no longer think there should be home advantage in the playoffs?
I like how they're changing the rules as things go on. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Just like last year.
Do we know, first of all, if it was ever stated that the top team would have home advantage?
I will check.
That's one thing. But
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was.
The other thing that I think is a credibility. We hear a lot from certain Championship chairmen about the strength of their competition and how well the clubs are run. There's been 2 issues this year that throw their credibility into doubt. The first is complaints about the 1895 Cup. They all voted that they wanted the 1895 Cup.
Yeah, they did.
They all thought taking Championship or League One teams to Wembley was a good idea that would invigorate them.
Yeah.
They all realised that there were midweek fixtures involved in
Hence
that
why
cup
some
this
of the
year.
clubs didn't take
and
part.
some of the clubs before it even kicked off said, that's fine, we
It's
back
not
the
for us.
idea.
Yeah,
but
it's
you
not
know,
for us. Yeah.
West Wales, Coventry, North London Scholars, Geographical Outposts all said midweek's not good for us, we're going to lose money on that, so we'll not enter. We get to the stage where some teams are in the midweek section of the competition and they all go, "Oh, I can't have this. It's wrong." And there's no prize money. Well, you knew that when you entered it. So there's a credibility issue there, and I think this is another one that whatever was decided at the beginning of the pre-season, that was, it was set that was the format. To be coming out now, 9 weeks before the end of the season and say we want some definitive change or alteration to the format, you're not credible if you do that. Whatever was decided at the beginning of the year, whether it was made public or not, you all signed up to it by agreeing to start fixtures in that competition. Don't change it. If you want to change it for next year because you didn't like the fact that Toronto are going to finish top, do it next year. But you're undermining whatever it is you're trying to sell. We speak every programme about the Championship and League One are going to have to do some kind of a deal for themselves in the not too distant future. This kind of behaviour doesn't help them.
Okay. Alright, what do you make of it?
It's hard to argue with that. I mean, I think as we saw last year, what was it with the Championship was expanded and less teams went down. You can't change it mid-season. It's just not. There is no credibility. There's no fairness to it, and I don't think, as you rightly pointed out, was that ever made public, the home advantage? It seemed to be. It was expected.
Matt Shaw's article says, as it stands, the final is due to be played at home.
On the Rugby League website, rugby-league.com,
which is the official
/2019_structure. Go there now, read this. The Betfred Championship structure expands to a 14-team competition in 2019, with all teams playing each other once home and away, plus a summer bash, ending with a playoff series for the top 5 teams, with the winner promoted to Super League and relegation, blah, 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 blah. And they have a graphic, and all it says is the Championship final is played by the winner of Game D, which is the semi-final, and winner of Game E, which is the preliminary final. It doesn't say where that game will be.
No, that's
but
what I said.
the understanding, like it would have been at the home, but I can't remember where that's come from now.
But even whatever the understanding is, that the chairman or owners want change. You can't do that.
No.
It's a bit
Ask
unfair
that
on
question
Toronto,
at the start of the
isn't it?
season.
We've been playing all year long.
All year
If we're at home, we're at home. If we win it, we're at home in the playoffs.
Exactly. If you finish top and you're consistent like they are, they want rewarding is finishing top and being the best team all season.
What would the reaction of St Helens if you've come top, but what we're actually going to do, we're going to make you play away from home in the semi-final. They're going to go.
And the other thing is, I think we had Toronto playing at home in the virtual equivalent of it last year.
Yeah,
and they didn't win.
Yeah.
So, what are the other clubs saying? If they don't want to go, we don't want to be going to Toronto. Well,
I think you sort of have most. We generally have most finals at a neutral venue, Old Trafford or Wembley. But the precedent or the sort of the understanding is that they would have home advantage. So you can't take that from them.
There is definitely a case to say that we need more events in rugby league, and to have a promotion playoff final at a neutral venue, which has happened before. When the beloved Wakefield got promoted, they beat Featherstone at Huddersfield. When Widnes played, Widnes Castleford, was it?
That was at Headingley, wasn't it?
20,000 people.
Widnes not go to administration the day after. Is that what?
Danny Brough cried to leave Castle, got to Wakefield as well.
There is every logic in saying that this game should be at a neutral venue, but establish that at the beginning of the season. Yeah. And if the tacit understanding is that wasn't what was going to happen because we didn't announce it was going to happen, you can't do it 8 weeks out from the end of the season.
It's changing the goal close while you're in the in the game.
Yeah,
it's madness.
Yeah,
which of course we did last year by adding an extra promotion playoff game for Workington, and
that was essentially a stay of execution for Rochdale. They were going down last year, and they're going to go down this year.
Well, they're going to need something special, aren't they, in the Championship, because they are struggling. Somewhat Rochdale at the minute. Well done to Swinton. Big win for them over Batley yesterday later on. Well done to the Bulls as well. We should mention that. There's a real danger Toulouse are going to end up making a bit of a mess of this. They've lost a couple of home games recently, haven't they? So they'll be worried. Big win for Fev.
Congratulations to York on being clear in second place. That is phenomenal. Now, with 20 rounds in, 2/3 of the season, and a team that got promoted are a real chance of being in that 1v2
and with one of the smallest budgets in that division.
Absolutely.
It's not like they're topped up by, shall we say, Featherstone style with a load of top players. Big
game in the Championship is Toronto Featherstone this week. I think all the others are mostly mismatches. That's really wrong to say. They're not that at all. But there's none of the top 7 going head to head other than that one, is there? Before anyone writes in and shouts at me. What's happening on social media?
We might have an exclusive story later on in the programme.
All right.
I'm just doing some research because I was given a tip off this morning.
All right.
And I'm just trying to do some research on it because I might be right. It might be right. But
Our friend Nicholas, by the way,
yes.
from Canada, he's over this week watching rugby.
I'm going to take him to Belgium.
Are you taking him?
Stadium, yeah.
Do I still tonight?
It's going to put him off.
Why does he deserve that?
From halfway around the world.
So why does he deserve that?
I can't be bothered going to watch Leeds and OK.
Yeah.
The shame is, and we again, broken record, 5 Super League games in competition on Friday night. So we've got a guy coming over from Canada who is a mad passionate fan, just getting into the sport. He should be able to go and watch at least 3 games this weekend.
Yeah, I have discussed this with someone about this, and I'm pleased to say they agreed with me. I think in the new TV deal this might change. I do think this will
got to do, Mark, hasn't it?
One game. No matter who it is, even if it's the bottom 2 in the thing, all eyes on that one game, and that will instantly, in my opinion, make the figures bigger. Because the people on Friday, for instance, I don't know which game is on top. It's Leeds, isn't it? Of course it is. So Huddersfield,
but it isn't St Helens, Wigan.
Saints, Wigan, Wakey Cats,
TV
Warrington,
candidates.
Salford. All those fans can't watch the game. Ridiculous.
And mind you, if it's anything like Salford, Huddersfield the other night, I'd just delete it as soon as I got in.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
I have to say, Huddersfield were absolutely outstanding, and that possibly is the result of the weekend.
Yeah, I think from being 8-0 down.
And from the young team that they had out, and the fact that they had 2 debutants in there who were both absolutely magnificent. Tom Holmes was superb, and Ollie Wilson, who a lot is expected, a big fee paid for him as a teenager. Massive impact off the bench, along with the big white polar bear.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Has anyone sent us? Oh, you're doing that.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
I wonder if anyone sent us a review.
It's all,
and if it's 1 star, I'm going to go around and
yet,
see.
But Andy's asked if it's 1 up, 1 down this year. It is from Super League.
Yeah, at the moment.
2 down from. Well, yeah, it might actually be 0. It might be 0 because they might just close the door. They can do whatever they want. Anthony says there's a good chance the team will have to go to Toronto twice in 2 or 3 weeks. It's all about the expense of championship clubs.
But they know about. The argue is they know about that when they enter the competition.
I thought they all got paid.
Yeah.
The
flights have been paid for.
I guess the inconvenience, part-time players can get time off work, but look, that's the way of the world.
Paul says, in addition, if there's a championship final between Toulouse and Toronto at short notice, the crowd figure will be interesting. But I thought everyone loves rugby league, so they just go to watch it because it's rugby league. Neutral buy-in.
I think it's safe to say that if that game is in Toronto, about 10,000 Torontonians will turn up, because we saw that last year.
Also on Friday, Sheffield versus Dewsbury, says Chris. So there you go, another game.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's going on?
It is a little bit bonkers. Right, okay. We've done a little bit of housekeeping.
Great result for Coventry this weekend.
Yes.
All right, we'll start talking about Coventry then.
I'll
just teeing up there. I'll actually do something. London Scholars, since they were top of the table, have been in free fall. They now might even miss the playoffs if Workington don't pull their finger out. They lost to North Wales, who won again. North Wales might make the playoffs. It's all happening in League One.
Possibly one of the best results Coventry have had, though, away at the Scholars.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a disappointing year for Coventry, hasn't it? I thought they might have kicked on after last year, but only 4 wins for them.
Making history, though, this weekend, because they will play the first ever game of Rugby League at Rugby. Right. The home of Rugby. The home of the school, of course, in which, as we all know, William Webb Ellis didn't cheat and pick up a ball. It was all made up by Twickenham to add a bit of mythology to their game.
Lovely. Very good. Right, we'll start talking about Super League, Phil, if that's right. We'll revisit Coventry because we're very proud of them.
Didn't want to forget Coventry.
We're very proud of their achievement. No, we're not talking about Leeds. We will start off on Thursday night by talking about Huddersfield against Salford. Salford 8-0 up early on. Huddersfield turn it round, as Phil said, Schoey. The young lads off the bench, for me, changed that game around.
They sure did, and I think the coach as well, Ian Watson, I think he identified that as well, but... Salford again, everybody, we're all saying the same. When they're favourites, they can't win, and when they're not favourites, they seem to put the performance in, as we've seen, a few times this year, going to Warrington and beating them. That's performance against St Helens when they just lost in the last few seconds from there. But Catalans as well. But it seems to just be an attitude problem, doesn't it, with Salford from there. Taking nothing away from Huddersfield, they were absolutely outstanding, and the young kids who have come through, they certainly were outstanding. They got a tune out of them, Wolford, and You know, Wilford. You know, he's coming for a bit of criticism, Wilford, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, hasn't he? From a point of view, not about we're losing, but about what he's been said about his players, criticising players. Well, I'll tell you what, I totally applaud him, because at the end of the day, coach can only do so much. The players have got to start taking responsibility for performances. He got a tune out of his players from there. The consistent were all right. They showed a lot of character coming back from 8-0 down there. But yeah, Ian Watson wasn't happy because he felt as though that his players didn't show the right attitude. He's like, Huddersfield wanted it more than them. Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, they did want it more than them, and also as well, they played attractive, quality football, also too intense as well from a defensive point of view to force mistakes from Salford. And it's simple. Salford, when the pressure's on, they bottle it. Simple as that.
I agree with that. I think like Wakefield, when Wake your favourites, they never really win. When they're not, they do all right. What did you make of the game, John? Were you watching?
I was, yeah. It was such a result needed for Huddersfield. I mean, they were 8-0 down. They were terrible. It was a very soft opening try, but they turned it around, and full credit to them. I mean, if they'd lost that game, you'd be really thinking the pressure would start to be on them. But that gives them a little bit of breathing space now, and the fact that it was some new players, some young kids, was great to see, because a lot of the senior players haven't really been standing up for them. So
I think they made a really clever tactical switch as well, moving Darnell McIntosh into the centre. It says in the papers that obviously they're looking for a full-back now for next year, because I think the thing about McIntosh is he seems to be a confidence player, and when it's going for him, he's an outstanding individual.
Can I make an observation
but at
about
full
that?
back, it's a real spotlight position. Every error you make is absolutely
and he's
magnified.
had a couple of high-profile ones that have.
But he looks
Wakefield at home would probably cost them a game.
Looks so comfortable in the
But
centre.
it goes back to the age-old problem at Huddersfield is they've got Jermaine McGilvray on one side. They had Darnell McIntosh, who had his best try-scoring season last year. They've got the two Innis boys can play on the wing. So what do? They go buy Akila Duarte for a fortune.
There's been garbage.
Who's not set the ground alight. Do they need him? Would they have been better buying a first-class fullback? Would they be in a better position? Yes, they would. And it's all about recruitment. And you just look at all those kids now, right? And you think, wow, you just put some decent players in that team.
I think
then
they had 9 of their 17 were homegrown, which they haven't
I think
done for a long
I think
time.
they even raised a question on the TV, right? If they've got all them kids playing, right, and they spend salary cap, where the hell's all the salary cap money going? You know?
Well, I think we know by some of the players that they've been trying to offload who are on very high money that no other club
there
wants.
you go. So again, you look at it and you think there's a common theme at Huddersfield that needs sorting out.
I think Wolford has the respect of the players. I mean, you'll know him from his days in Australia. He's not a man to mess with, but he's very honest.
It's interesting when you commentate in front of him on the radio. I'll tell you that for free. What did you make of the Thewlis thing? It was like Wolford's. It was like they were handcuffed together everywhere. Wolford went, he was there. What did you make of that?
Well, I think he's been there since 2004, in charge at Huddersfield. Thewlis. What have they done in that period?
Well, my point. Why was he going in the dressing room? Why was he going down to pitch side? I didn't get that. I don't like it. What did you make of it?
No, that's bizarre. I mean, I think a head coach, you shouldn't have a CEO or an MD or an owner. Obviously, I think Marwan used to go in the change rooms at Salford, didn't he? It's just not a good look. It's not. Doesn't set a good example. And I think Wolford's got to take full ownership of that team. I was thinking a couple of weeks ago, obviously, when that losing run, maybe you should go back to Skyping in, because that seemed to work. You were a fan of that, weren't you, Schoey, the Skype method, coaching by Skype?
Of course he was. What do you make of it, Schoey? I mean, you weren't coached long enough for anyone to join you on the sideline, really. So, what did you make of it? Right. What would you have? Would you be happy with that?
Oh no, not a chance, no way, mate. But also, I said it last week, he's under pressure. He's Simon Wolford and Ken Davey. I reckon Simon might have had 2-3 matches of games there. So I reckon Ken's has said this to say, I want to know what's going on in that dressing room. I want to know what he's saying to the players, and I want to know are the players respecting Wolford. That's why Thewlis has been there. We've never at the time that we've been at Huddersfield, the Institute when Huddersfield have been on telly, you've seen Thewlis nowhere near. And on Friday night, as soon as he was around from there, he should have been told, get out, leg it, because you don't deserve to be in here. You should be in here. So no, it didn't look a good look from there. But he just said to me, Ken wanted to know more. What was going on? Was Wolford still getting response from the players? Well, did the players want to still play for him? And also is the dressing room all right from there? So that's what Thewlis has been Spygate, to be honest with you, exactly in that dressing room around from there, and I reckon he's been told to do that from the man in charge, which is Ken Davis. And he's allowed to do what he wants, Ken, because as we all know, his influence there at the Giants. But Wolf had got a tune from his players. I was absolutely delighted for him on Friday night, and as I say, he's come under some criticism himself, not just for the defeats, but the way that he spoke openly and honest about his players, about their attitude. They're not good enough. We're not good enough to win games. We should have wrapped up the game against Castleford and some of the games what we should have won from there. So I applaud what Wolford has absolutely said. Players have got to take responsibility, and I tell you what, they took responsibility on Thursday night and they got a great win for him. They did.
Very good.
But fewless for me. The worst one has been Steve Gill at Cass. When Cass won, you think he was the Messiah. Absolutely pathetic. With that song what comes on there, Sweet Caroline, and he's there clapping and this sort of thing. Absolutely pathetic. For me, chief executives and directors, just stay away, on match days, stay away from dressing rooms, coaches and players. Yes, after the game, do whatever you want. But during and before, during and after, stay away.
What about
stay
directors
away.
of rugby? Do they count?
But no, it's... What does he know about the game anyway? What does he know about the game anyway?
Well, they've had 5 coaches in three and a bit years. I mean, so you talk about Wolford being under pressure. I mean, what would sacking him achieve?
Nothing.
The mistake they
Nothing.
made.
But they were getting into the relegation.
Oh, yeah,
zone.
yeah,
And I said it last week. Hey, listen, I've been sacked by Ken Davis. So there's a lot of other people as well, to be honest with you, from there. But Ken,
you've been sacked by a lot of people.
He's 2 people. That's all. 2 people. Don't worry about that. But what I'm saying is here. Ken knew that they were dropping in there, so Ken would want to know what was going on, and to me it stuck out like a mile. With Fewless, literally, he was just literally over Wolford's shoulder. I don't know if you saw it on television from there.
Yeah, no, I did.
He was just literally as if he's earwigging everything what Simon was doing, And
I think the mistake that Huddersfield made, having finished league leaders in 2013, which was an enormous achievement, was dispensing with Paul Anderson. You look back now and think.
Yeah, but Phil, players, unfortunately, coaches have their time, and players have had enough of Paul. They've had enough.
But don't management have to back the coach?
No, players don't want to play for the coach. No, there's only one thing that happens. The coach gets the sack.
I think that's
the players have had enough.
That's the problem, though. They've perhaps put a lot of faith in players consistently performing, and they've brought in the wrong players.
Exactly. Look at that scrum half, that Fromley.
Frawley.
He's been very disappointing.
He's garbage. He's garbage. He's absolute garbage. But again, when we talk about recruitment, who's looking at these Australian players? It's garbage.
With the greatest respect to Matt Frawley, he didn't have a great record in the NRL when he came over.
One season.
He's
but Phil,
25, 26. He'd only played less than 30 games.
Phil, but you're not about saying that the greatest respect to Matt Frawley. Hold on, greatest respect to Matt Frawley, my backside. He's not good enough.
I have respect for anyone that can lace a boot.
No, but he's not good enough. And it's like Lola here at Salford, what you saw there. Do you know what? He's not good enough as well. Never mind having a bit of sympathy for these players. It's simple. They're not good enough to play Super. They're not good enough to play Super, and they're keeping like you got Oliver Russell. He's a quality scrum half from him, and he's not getting him because of that Fromley or whatever he's called. He's rubbish. It's garbage.
In terms of Salford, I think the point isn't so much at the moment Lola here coming in. They certainly are missing Rob Lewis. It's almost like you've taken the spark plug out of the team.
Well, of course,
that was a business decision. I mean,
I
not only
understand
they
why
got
they
money
had to do
for Rob Lewis, they've also got Tui Lohia's wages being paid by Leeds.
But I just think that that as much as it's helped Leeds, and Louis was excellent on Friday night, that has harmed Salford. The interesting question is, looking at what happened at the bottom of the table last week, we were trying to guess on this show how many points you might need to avoid relegation. Because Leeds and Huddersfield now have 16, does that pull in the 2 teams above them that have 18?
Only if the 2 at the bottom win. And I think now might be. I think now, potentially, I still think that bottom 3 will be the bottom 3.
Right.
This weekend's key, then, you think?
I think this week.
This weekend's really interesting.
Because Leeds, Hull KR and Huddersfield have all got to play each other in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then, if Leeds win both games, they're gone. They'll be looking at the top 6, top 5 if they win those 2 games.
But Hull KR have got a great record against Leeds in recent years, and if they win that game, that sort of puts Leeds back.
Who have Leeds got after Hull KR?
Hull at home.
And then Huddersfield.
And then Huddersfield, right.
Yeah.
But if, let's say Hull KR beat Leeds, so that Hull KR, Leeds and Huddersfield all have a minimum of 16 points, does that, and Wakefield and Salford lose?
No, definitely.
Are they pulled into
Well, they are, because London play Salford in 2 weeks.
So
or 3 weeks it might be.
would you be worried at Salford at the
Yeah,
moment?
I
And
think
the
Ian
way that they
said
played
after.
this week?
Ian Watson said
yeah.
after, he's worried.
Peter says it's embarrassing. Chance missed again for the top 5 for Salford.
Chance missed again for the top 5, but only 4 points off the bottom at the moment.
I tell you what though, you mentioned Salford. I tell you what, a team that is getting dropped in the mire, because where is their next victory coming from? Where's Wakefield's next victory coming from?
Friday against.
Well, they had one last
Well,
week.
me and Rich were just
Wakefield, they had one last
talking.
week.
They had one last week. They Huddersfield.
Yeah, but from now, where's the next week coming from after you saw that performance this weekend?
I don't know.
Well,
Said
me
that
and
about
Rich-
plenty of clubs this week.
Me and Rich
This
were
year.
talking to Keegan Hurst today, and he mentioned after the Catalans game that relegation is something they can't discount at this point.
Well, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't. Because that was gutless on Saturday. Absolutely gutless.
Catalan were very good. It
Catalan were good.
it was 35 degrees.
So what?
But
Same
they
for both sides.
Well, it was
Well, I think they're
30
more
odd
used-
degrees in Toulouse, but Bradford's still low.
They're more used to training it. But I just think there was something about some of Wakefield's body language on Saturday that didn't look great.
That combination
Bruff's-
with Bruff and Miller's not working.
That Danny Bruff's kick that went halfway down to the beach at Cannae was one of the worst that I've seen in.
Right, but what about the other one, Phil, when he just started creating and he just kicked it through about 5 or 10 yards? You could do better with a knee bandage, to be honest with you. What about that kick from there? That combination
I mean,
between Bruff and Miller's not working.
they're talking about
It's
he
not
might have
working.
a pec injury, and he could have picked that up, and we could be.
Well, that could be a blessing in disguise, because
But
Jacob Miller cannot play
it's
with
not
Bruff.
working.
It's not working, no way, man. So Miller now, he will be the main playmaker. So he will get responsible for players around him, and the players will then know who is the main playmaker, who they're going to be running off, who they're going to be listening to. Because that combination between Bruff and Miller's not working. Not working. Not
I thought
at all.
Bruff would be the key, the icing on the cake side. I certainly did. It's not proved to be that. has it?
No, not at all. And to be honest with you, his form has been absolutely shocking. Shocking. It has. He's not brought nothing yet. He's
Fair
brought
enough.
nothing.
I think we have to pay credit to the Dragons as well,
Oh, outstanding.
who were in a real form slump going into that game.
But as Gary said,
But
though,
it's the manner in which they played. I thought they played some lovely rugby, scored some fabulous tries. It helps, of course, when you've got Michael McAlorum and Kenny Edwards and
Hold
Matt
on, hold on,
Whitley
hold on.
coming back into the team.
Phil, they've had them, but it's,
No.
it's one person who's been in there as well, and Matty Smith, and he's just too
Yeah.
slow and done everything.
And Gijo did some lovely. Yeah, he was an X Factor player when
Yeah,
he's
but
on.
all the players have been playing when Matty Smith's been playing. They do the right thing, they drop Matty Smith, and everything else clicks. A lot quicker, a lot more variation, a lot more speed of thought. Players looked a lot happier. The body language was excellent, and I'm sorry, but Matty Smith's been a decent player. He's won this and won that and what have you. But unfortunately now he's another one who's not good enough to play Super League.
And it's not my
Simple as that.
yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree with that. That they, with him in the team, they look,
Everything's
an
smart.
unhappy Gijo is clearly not happy at thing, and now all of a sudden, he's happy again. You know what I mean? It's like I don't
But
know.
all the players look happy, Mark. Everybody looks happy because everything.
They look like
the
they
speed
knew
of
their
thought
role.
was. Correct. The speed of thought was quicker. The creativity was different.
Cassiano back on the bench. to
The
make an
variation
impact when he came
was a
on.
lot different. It just wasn't boring and just slow passing, dropping people back on the inside. When he's been playing, it's been too slow, too sluggish. On Saturday, it looked like the Catalans at their best. Simple as that.
Okay.
Not my,
Are you worried, Rich?
I'm always worried. That's a natural position. That's why I'm excited for Rugby League.
We're Phil Trinity default setting.
yeah.
Worried.
So I'm excited for Rugby League's Mental Health Week. Some interesting squad numbers in League Weekly from the Catalan Dragons. Looking at some of these numbers, dearie me, there's some interesting ratings on these Wakefield players. I don't know what game they were watching. Some players, I mean, I don't want to say they look disinterested or not up for it, but some of them look like lead, don't they? Without naming
So
any
you don't
names.
want to say it, but you just said it.
Well, no, I
anyway.
can't name names, so can't, because
Why
obviously
not? Of
I
course
could
you
be
can.
wrong. But you can
Who
assume
disappointed you then?
some of the forwards.
Go on, name names. Who
Some of
disappointed
the
you?
forwards.
Who
Paulie
disappointed
Paulie,
you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, I'll-
injured, but
Paulie defence was shocking for him.
Yeah.
Paulie
Well,
Paul
8
is
in the
out of
paper.
contract
Yeah.
and not getting kept.
But
You
also,
got an
well,
yeah, that's
8
what
out
I
of 10.
8.
How many?
How do you get an 8 out of 10 when you're
What-
beaten by 40?
That's what I thought. Was,
Who
was
did,
I
who
watching
did
it?
the report?
Was I watching
Denise
it?
Brady.
What did
How's
Was
they?
it-
Denise Brady?
What did they give for Fita? What did they give?
I think it was
what did they
Stevie
give?
Wonder.
Yeah.
What did Denise Brady on the tape?
What did they give for Fita?
He got a 6.
Well, to the
I mean,
6.
in fairness, Miller got 8 and he had a poor game as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but anyways, we know these are all the crap anyway, these numbers.
Yeah,
aren't
but
they?
8,
They're all
come
made
on.
up. Yeah.
8. No one should get an 8 if you've
No.
lost.
Rubbish. By the
Not
way,
by that
they
magnitude.
were
Unless you make 100 tackles and score 4 tries.
They were
But they lost
rubbish.
44-10.
But I'm not buying into supporters and
Well, what the Wakefield supporters
Well,
been
two
saying?
things. One, no, you don't get your money back when you lose in Catalans. Don't be like football. We don't want to end up like football clubs where team loses match, they demand their money back. It doesn't work like that. You don't win every game.
These lads are not on 40 grand a week.
And,
You know,
and the
they
thing
can't be
is,
bothered.
you don't go to Catalan for anything other than to have the enjoyment of going to Catalan. The 80 minutes you go for is the one thing you can't control. You enjoy it for the weekend that it is. So you won't be getting your money back.
Having not been there, but I've been to the Bash and paid to stay in Blackpool. So anyway, two, the people who are on the Chester Out bandwagon, A, they're morons. B, let's face it, right. Wakefield are playing the best style of rugby when they're playing all right, which they haven't for the last few weeks. Since, I would say, Andy Kelly's been in charge. Everyone will say John Keir. We were bloody boring under John Keir, and you know that. But he gets a free pass for it because he's a legend. So why would you get rid of a coach who's playing the best style of rugby we've had at the club for a while and winning, finished fifth the last 2 years? Yes, we're not there this year, but if you remember at the start of the season, when we were all doing the predictions, we all had the top 2 or 3 nailed, didn't we? And the bottom 2 or 3 nailed, and the middle was all a bit of a mixture. And as we come towards the end of the season, let me have a look at the table. The top 2, yeah, they're where they are. Bottom 2 or 3, yeah, and the rest is all a bit of a mixture, isn't it? Everything's going the way it is. Wakefield could still win the grand final, or they could still get relegated.
Yeah,
have they had injuries? Yes. Are there key players out? You know, the point that was made yesterday actually at the women's game was a good one. People don't realise how much work perhaps a Tinarau runner and a Matty Ashurst do when they're not there on the pitch.
Yeah.
You can miss your halfbacks as much as you like, but when the people who do the work aren't there, and maybe there are people in the team who aren't doing the work, it's a bit hard, isn't it?
You alright?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm more annoyed actually about the people selling off the women's team yesterday, but they're complete morons.
Well, we'll talk about that in a bit.
We will.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, very good. So Wakefield.
Are we close to your breaking exclusive yet? Because I'm getting excited.
I don't know if it is on. You know what it is, and I don't know whether I should mention it or not because I can't find.
Do we need like a time out here?
I can't find.
Brian,
is it a world exclusive or a universal?
It's a world exclusive.
Come on then. What is it?
Well,
just go with it, Rich.
I can't find the rules on the RFL website.
Right.
So I'm going to call into question the fact that a player in the Castleford Tigers women's team yesterday,
right,
who won 100-0.
Who won 100-0? I was there. I saw it.
Minus 56.
Ka-ching. Played in the competition.
Have you no shame?
No. Played earlier in the competition for a different club.
Oh.
So
who's that?
Frankie Townend. She played for Alton in an early round against Widnes.
How have you been made aware of this?
I was tipped off by someone earlier today on social media.
Well, I'm afraid to say the game will be forfeited. You can't.
So Wakey could be going to the cup final. What are you saying?
Oh, come on! I mean, that would be
Wakey in the cup final.
That would be extremely
Hold
harsh,
Hold on.
I can't find on the RFL website. The operational rules are about the Challenge Cup, but they are obviously about the men's Challenge Cup.
Right.
So there isn't any.
So what you are saying, what you, the Wakefield fan, is saying at Castleford?
Throw Castleford out of the cup and put Wakefield in there, yeah. Right.
There is a precedent, though. Didn't they play an illegal play? They got to the final, didn't they?
We can say that Hull have signed a player.
Yes.
Manu Mao is playing for Hull in 2020. Decent signing.
Yes, he's the sort of player you would not want to meet in a dark alley. Probably the scariest player.
Went to prison as a teenager.
Again, yeah.
So
I wouldn't be running that anymore.
Right. So how's he allowed in the competition then?
What position is it?
Ben Barber's not allowed in the competition.
Well,
Ben Barber's not allowed in the competition.
This is the interesting thing. Has he got a work?
So how's he allowed in the competition?
I'm
just asking a question. We can't have double standards. I don't know what
we have double standards all the time.
How can we have this?
He was a teenager who was involved in gang violence, got sent to prison, and apparently he's a totally reformed character and doing a lot of work in the community to highlight.
So what's the difference?
Well, he's going to be in England. He's not going to be doing anything in his community now, is he?
And I'm getting something against him. I don't know him. I've no interest whatsoever. But it's the double standards of the sport. By the way, I don't want Castleford kicked out of the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
What's it wait for in the final?
I'll tell you what, it'd be a fantastic final, Castleford League.
It will.
That we should be able to promote as a sport as being a massive event in its own right.
Well, what I like
There'll be
today,
at least 1,000 fans there.
well, what
for
I
that.
like today, Castle put a thing on their thing
We
saying
want
we are
revenge.
going to get some tickets. No, about getting tickets.
Oh no, they're getting
They will
both
ta-
teams
they'll
are getting
take-
500
They'll
to
they'll
start with.
take plenty, I reckon.
Yeah.
They'll
Well,
take
I think
plenty.
Leeds will take a lot as well, because for those two teams, they now have a vested interest in a major event that they wouldn't otherwise.
Are they
have
playing
been
at
part
Wembley? Is that at Wembley?
of.
Their
It's a
final?
Bolton,
Oh, it's a Bolton.
It's a semi-final.
Semi-final.
and they're sending 500 tickets to each.
And who's the
club
final
to
against?
start.
Castle Leeds.
Castle Leeds.
Oh.
It is.
It's a-
Which
Which
is
is a
good that it's
repeat
been
of
polled.
last year's final.
It's good that it's been played at Bolton. It is, I suppose, a little bit of a shame it's not at Wembley, isn't it? But
When you see a close up, when you actually get to see a player close up, you realise how good Georgia Roach is. She's really good.
Yeah.
They are really.
I
Can
cast
I-
that good aside to win 100-0 or just Wakefield garbage.
No, well, if you like, I think garbage is unfair, and this is where I've been annoyed.
Once
by
you get beat
it.
100-0, you get beat 100-0, they can't be far off it.
Well,
You'll
no,
upset him now.
no, because
No, let him
Hey.
obviously.
hey, this is the fault of the RFL for expanding Super League beyond where it should be. I think Phil said on this programme before, we should have taken the route of the Australians and had a 4 or 5 team competition, and we put too many teams in there. Castleford are very good. They're full of internationals or players who will be internationals or whatever. Wakefield are a very young side. When we saw the team use Mark, and they had
Oh,
two
don't
of-
be dragging me into your school.
and they had two
I know nothing about it.
and they had 2 of their key
Huh?
players out missing, at least. The team sheet's interesting because the name on there wasn't playing. Then there was obviously going to be a mismatch.
I think it's also fair to say that 2
Yeah, they
years
go.
ago, Castleford women were in exactly the same position as Wakefield's women. They were getting beaten by some very heavy 70, 80 point scores, and look at them now. This is still at very much the development stage.
I want to know: is Roach going to end up going to Australia?
Well, she had offers
Because she's that good. She's that good. Is she going to get asked to go play in the
Hope so.
women's NRL?
If that's where
What position is she?
She plays
Well,
at
plays
halfback, yeah, or
six
loose
or
forward.
loose forward, but why would you deny the opportunity to play at the highest level she could play at?
Well, should we not be?
We should be
championing
encouraging that, especially. I think that'll help England's World Cup course.
that? Yeah.
They are that good, and Wakefield had no possession. Well, I'd love to see the stats. I think they must have had about 5 sets, and I think 3 of those were in the first 5 minutes of the game. Castleford are really, really good to watch. They live up to the classy cast tag. They're well worth watching if you have got tickets already for the semi-final day in Bolton. Get along early because it will be a belting game.
Will
that
be.
is
That could be the game of the
Is
day.
it any different to Manchester City beating whoever they did 9-0 in an FA Cup tie this year?
I think the embarrassment is
No.
not Wakefield losing 100-0 to Castleford in a game where they're both amateurs for all intents and purposes. What's embarrassing is teams in Super League conceding 70 odd points
Yeah.
when they're getting paid £1.8 million between them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think people who've chosen this to have a go at the Wakefield team and Wakefield players.
You're missing the point, in my opinion. Missing the point. Missing the point. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's
What a try,
embarrassing,
by the
of
way,
course it is,
for
but-
Leeds.
Caitlin
Caitlin
Beavers.
Beavers. What a try that was.
Well, again, when you get evenly matched sides, and we're talking about the Castleford and Wakefield were not evenly matched sides because of the stage they're at in the development. The women's game is absolutely sensational, and that St Helens Leeds semi was magnificent.
Where does that finish up?
16-10.
Beavers
It was
versus
10
Hamlet.
all at
With
the
a,
end.
with a last minute,
Saints kicked ahead, fullback picks it up, goes 90 yards. Great try.
and Leeds had to kick a touchline conversion to get it to 10-all as well, which no mean feat.
Alright, that's enough about Leeds.
They've had a
No
good,
likes
they've
them.
had, they've had a good weekend. this weekend.
They have had a good week.
PDRL one as well.
Yeah.
They did.
Here's the,
Someone messages about the PDRL.
Here's the
You
big
don't have to
part.
tell us about the. We know about the PDRL.
Here's the
We've
big
It
played.
was brilliant at half time.
here's the
it good?
Two teams were magnificent, Cass and Leeds. Absolutely
Better than the main
magnificent.
game. Here's
Real.
2 points. 738 at Saints versus Leeds. 913 at Wakefield versus Cass. Plenty making the trip from Castle, but of course the short trip. Very good crowds. Very comparable with crowds in the Women's Super League football, which gets far more media coverage and hype. Challenge Shield semi-finals. Featherstone 38, Army 42 after extra time.
Wow.
Army versus Fev, that'll be a battle. York beat Barrow 24-6, so they will play the Army in the Challenge Shield final, which is on the Friday night, so that'll be the 26th of July at the Menderhurst Jungle at 7 something kickoff.
Okay. Cool.
Go down and watch, and I'm sure there's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was, so it can't matter that much. Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
the PDRL boys, anyway, looking for some assistance from some pros. Seriously, they are. They've put a thing out. They want some old pros to go and help them, pass on tips. I'm not joking. That's a serious thing. So if you can spare them an hour one night, maybe just bob down and help them. They've got some good talent there.
They have got some, but they've got some good talent across the whole of PDRL. Every time I watch it, I'm in absolute awe of all of the teams that are playing. Cass were as good as Leeds on Friday night. It was one try between them, which was a great try, but it was just a joy.
If you're a masochist as well, Castleford versus Wakefield, 21st of July, the week before the cup final, they meet again at the Mendenhurst Jungle.
I hope Cass put on a double header and just say to everyone, if you pay an extra 50p, it'll go to the women's team and it'll give them the biggest crowd. Because I know they've got it already, but if you can get like a 6,000 crowd, that's a bit of a bar raiser, isn't it? You know.
I think this cup final is going to be a watershed moment for the women's game.
I
think that.
Well, it's on the big stage, isn't it?
I think the last 2 years the game has grown really impressively.
I think you boys were at the forefront of it.
No,
You were. When you broadcast the game last year, I tweeted this yesterday. I was very proud of you. Rich was on the BBC website, sold his soul to the devil, did Richard Shaw, right?
Wearing a deerstalker hat.
He did. He looked very smart. And I think from that moment on, the whole coverage of lower league rugby league and women's rugby league has taken off. So Richard is a trendsetter.
Part of that was it was a magnificent game. Because, you can't polish a Whatsit, but the actual Whatsit that day was fantastic.
Yes.
Leeds won with 5 minutes to spare in a game that could quite easily have gone either way, and people sat up and went, "Wow, I hadn't realised how good women's rugby
it's
could
like PDRL.
be." But
until you watch it, you don't realise how
to have a repeat of that final with everything that is now attached to it, with Castleford quite rightly building up the word revenge. People should be going.
Being accused of sour grapes.
Yeah, Maureen has said that Richard, it's sour grapes for Richard. Well, you shouldn't have said out. You shouldn't have said out, should you?
Well,
you and your alternate facts.
I thought we'd bring in some exclusive breaking news on the programme.
Although David says, get him kicked out. So there you go.
Have you seen much women's rugby league? Because you'll have seen the development of it in Australia.
Yeah,
they've gone about it a slightly
only a little bit
way.
here. Yeah, I've seen probably more in terms of the test matches. I didn't see the Origin game, but it's definitely on the rise. I think the RFL, they talked about 200,000 participants by 2023. I think. Obviously, it is growing really well, so it's going all right. So I do agree with what the guys were saying before about keeping the amount of teams involved limited, because that way you push the quality up. Which
is exactly what they've done in the NRL.
Yeah.
And the NRL have managed to get their sponsors now to, like Holden and...
and the media coverage has increased tenfold.
Have now moved some of their sponsorship to the women's game. So the season is short and sharp. Origin is one game instead of three because they don't yet feel that physically the girls can do three in close succession. But it's building to the 2021 World Cup, and that's what's exciting.
As Rich mentioned earlier, though, what's the plan for England women? When do they play?
They're going to Australia this autumn.
Oh, really? So they're playing Australia and New Zealand?
How do you know that? No one else knows that.
By 4020.
Oh.
Do you want to do the Steve Prescott Man of Steel?
Oh, yeah.
We will. We're going to mention Denise's comment. I think we should.
Gary Schofield, that's him. The welfare of players are very important. Your comments regarding Matty Smith was disgraceful. You're entitled to your views, but slagging off a player the way you did was unethical. The sport is trying to promote mental awareness. How do you know how he feels?
Rubbish.
Well, they're trying to.
Rubbish.
They're trying.
Rubbish.
How do you know how he feels? After all, he's a human being with a family.
Oh, do me a favour. Hey, listen, when Leeds got beat, 15,000 fans ripped into me. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
So, rubbish. Listen, as professional sportsmen, whichever sport you play, you're out there and people give opinions, and it's all about entertainment. And if you're not playing well, you will get ripped into. If you are playing well, you get there and you get loads of slaps octopus. So I'm sorry, absolute rubbish, garbage.
We are at this strange point where what are we allowed to say and not allowed to say?
I
know Schoey.
Well, no, it's not school sports day, is it? Where everyone gets
what
what
was interesting was that three of us this afternoon had been at a press conference at Headingley to highlight the fact that this weekend is meant well-being round. They moved it from state of mind to the wider idea of it being well-being. Would have been nice if we'd have been told some of that when we were there and they'd have outlined that that's what it was for, but there were lots of different players there telling lots of different stories, and it's not quite as simple as judging them on the field. I think we're all allowed to do that and pass an opinion. I think it's all about understanding some of the things they go through to get on the field in the first place. And there were, I had the privilege of talking to Matty English, 21 years old, just making his way in the game. Had a fantastic performance this weekend.
He did. I'll tell you what, you wouldn't looking at him play, you wouldn't know he was 21, would you?
No.
Not at all.
But has struggled with the fact that he was on the field when his teammate Ronan Costello, who he looked up to massively, passed away.
Yeah.
And he was talking honestly about that and about how it's affected him as a human being. Now, we can judge his performance on the field. We're absolutely at liberty to do that. Why watch sport if you're not going to pass judgment on people? Try and be as fair and objective as you can. So there's nothing wrong with saying Matty Smith isn't living up to the mark, because clearly when he's played, his team haven't played that well. When he hasn't played, his team have played better. It's not a huge value judgment to make. What we need is a greater understanding and awareness of what these players go through other than the 80 minutes we see them. And I think that's great. Some of the story, you interviewed Jared Sammer, who's got a story, Keegan Hurst. And the more we understand about the modern player, the better. But it doesn't stop you analysing the way they play for that 80 minutes.
What was that lady's name?
Denise.
Right, Denise. Can I'll give you an example? When I made my test debut as a standoff against Papua New Guinea in 1990, it's the only time Great Britain or England have been beaten by Papua New Guinea, and it was my test debut as a standoff. And yes, we got beat 20 points to 18, and it was my fault because I was absolutely garbage myself.
Not a 7 out of 10.
I was. Mate, I'll tell you. And if myself, I'm giving points to myself, and I give myself a 2. That's how bad I was, right?
I think the fans give you that.
That was one. That was one point. Just putting your boots on.
This is how, I think I give myself 2 because I turned up. It should have been 1, to be honest with you. But the point I'm making here, the slagging off I got from everybody, not just from supporters, but also too from all the media. And you know what? Rightly so, because they were right with my performance. I never took my bat and ball home. It was quite simple. I had to decide, was I good enough to play at stand-up international level or not? And I had to grow a pair. It was simple as that. So if I had took my bat and ball, I could have quite said, well, I'm not speaking to you anymore, I'm not speaking to you anymore, what you said about me, because they were open and honest. And let me just tell Denise, it's quite simple. What I do and give my opinion, it's simple. I give opinion of what I see. I don't make things up. And also too, what she's on about there with Matty Smith. Did you watch the game on Saturday with the Catalans Dragons? The answer is there for everybody to see. It's as simple as that. But the point I'm making is from there, if players sulk when they get criticised, that is not my problem, because one thing for sure, even when I was in Australia, and I learned very, very quickly in Australia, if you don't perform to the level where you should be playing, well, boy oh boy, do they get ripped into you. So I learned very, very quickly from there, do not take your bat and ball home when you're getting criticised, because it's quite simple. They are watching everything from there, and they, most of the time, and I know press will get criticised, and I know a lot of players will say about the press, what do you know about the game? You've never played the game. What gives you the right to have an opinion? Well, it's quite simple. They're employed to be journalists, they're employed to cover the game, and they are entitled to their opinion as well. So Denise, one thing for sure, you're not getting any sympathy from me from there, because you are totally wrong.
And I think what people always forget, it's never a personal criticism about the person.
No, it's not.
It's about what they do.
It's what they do as sportsmen. It's as simple as that.
That was the breaking news bell.
Oh, sorry. Do it again. No, don't do it again.
I might call someone to
Tell
die
people.
yeah.
Wigan have got a coach for next year. The
Sean
grey
Edwards?
smoke. The grey
Sean
smoke have come out of the DW stadium. They've burnt an effigy.
They burnt Sean Wayne's suit.
And it's you'll never guess who. It's Wayne Bennett's best pal, Adrian Lamb. He's going to be here for another year. So there you go.
There you
Wayne
go.
Bennett.
Until he gets sacked halfway through next
1 year.
Wayne Bennett, the next Queensland coach.
Well done, Salami. Well
So
done.
I think the next announcement is Jackson Hastings will be joining, on the basis of the fact that the agent who looks after Adrian Lamb's affairs also looks after
Mr. Ayub.
good old Sam.
Bloody agents. Anyway,
Also,
Steel.
I won't be second. Also, by the way, and all, I know you love it, Phil, the Heritage, where Jackson Hastings and Blake Costa could be playing for Great Britain. Have you seen the last 2 performances? Oh, and Blake Costa couldn't beat St Helens. Jackson Hastings couldn't beat Huddersfield. Do me a favour.
Blake Austin
Do me a favour.
Same.
Not good enough.
Do you
Not
pick-
good enough.
do you
Not
pick-
good enough.
Do you
Same
pick a
team.
team
They
off 2
couldn't
games?
play City Country, can't play Origin, so why are they good enough for Great
Well,
Britain?
Blake Austin did
Rubbish.
play City Country, so
Once.
you're wrong there.
Once.
Are you?
And how well did he play?
I can't remember 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was quite close to get picked for New South Wales.
So it's quite close. Yeah, so was my dad. You know what I mean? So rubbish. Rubbish.
You notice those teams are a little bit better.
Rubbish.
Now, I don't know of any respecting people who would write letters under an assumed name to the papers. So I'm assuming that David Hitchen of Wigan is not Gary Schofield in disguise. Headline, Britain for the British. I wonder if the editor of the paper came up with that. My unbridled joy and sense of eager anticipation for the long-awaited resurrection of the Lions, though, is being gradually eroded by the growing number of non-British players who are being put forward as eligible for the Great Britain squad.
They're not being put forward as eligible. They are eligible.
They're all eligible. We sent them over there.
They're either eligible.
Capital letters.
I've said it once and I've said it a dozen times. They're all eligible because we sent them over there 140 years ago.
No, wait
all
for
the
this.
grandparents, the great grandparents, the great grandparents.
Not all of
Don't
them.
talk about history. You don't know what
Not
you're
all
talking about.
Yeah.
They're all available.
Shocker there.
No, they're all available.
No, they're not.
No, they're all available. They've all got
So
heritage.
Greg Inglis is Aboriginal. Is he available as well?
Well, yeah, they're all available, aren't they?
So you
Of
sent
course.
Anywhere on the
Aboriginals
map
from
that was
Europe.
Gary, you're embarrassing yourself.
Dig up,
Your
stupid.
victory's gone to your head. You've
No,
embarrassed
no,
yourself.
no.
Anywhere on the map that was pink, they're allowed to play. Can these players?
What I'm saying is they're not good enough to put an international jersey
This is
on.
where David goes. I reckon this is a letter that's been planted. Can these players genuinely swear allegiance to a cause when they have no appreciation of the historical significance of such tours? What's going out on the pop?
And fish and chips.
Lee Crooks and his. Oh, anyway. So there you go. That's.
So if Blake Austin's number one and the man is still voting, and Jackson Hastings I think is number two, and
Well,
you
let's
are a
find
man
out.
of steel
Let's
judge, how are they not good enough? If they are deemed to be the two best players at
Big
this
Dave
point in
Sturt. Can we
time,
get Big Dave?
yeah, Big Dave Fafita.
So give us the voting.
Here we go then. We're coming up to the end where it's after next week we don't find out who's got them, so we have to make them up ourselves by not seeing the games. Salford, Cruz Leaning 3, Darnell McIntosh 2, Matt English 1,
I'm surprised Oliver Wilson didn't get anything.
Hull and Saints, Coote Lomax 5,
Coots eligible.
Scottish, Wigan Hull
Scottish?
KR,
How? It's played for Scotland.
It sounds Scottish, doesn't it? Yeah.
Wigan Hull KR, Williams Farrell Hardacre,
You reckon? That's your three, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Williams
that's my three, yeah.
Catalans Wakefield, Gigot, Mickey Mack, Willie Armey, London Warrington, Curry, Clark, Davis, Tigers Leeds,
Who did that game?
A fire. Martin does London games.
Tigers Leeds, Jack Walker got the 3.
Jack
Trent-
Walker was ruled out.
Yes.
He wasn't played anyway.
He played in a boot, obviously.
Trent Merrin, Paul McShane
Ridiculous.
got 1. I can't believe a Castle player got in the top 3 there.
Merrin was the.
I don't know who the legend was there. I know there was a legend, or someone on that Legends panel near me on the press bench, but I don't know if he was doing it. Or
Who
not.
was it?
The bloke off the telly, the one with the microphone who runs on the pitch.
Right.
But if it was, I don't think a Castle player should got in there in the top 3. They had a good 10 minutes in the game, but
Wasn't he on the bench match here?
yes,
Or
he
did he
started on
start?
the bench. Started on the bench.
Well, how's he got a point then?
Must have made some impact.
Well, if they'd have won, then.
Well, Lewis was on the bench, wasn't he? The Cruz leading. He got man of the match.
Yeah, but come on early though, doesn't he?
So the top 10, Blake Austin 25 points, Jackson Hastings 22, Big Dave and Lachlan Coote 18, Liam Watts, Daryl Clark
So
17,
Great Britain's half-back pairing are leading the Man of Steel votes.
Johnny
That's
Lomax
good.
on 16. He's
And the
played
full-backs
full-back,
in there. Yeah, he's all right.
Williams, Ratchford, Kelly. Albert Kelly, can he get in? Yeah.
Don't know. We'll have a
You
look.
wouldn't pick him on the basis of Friday's
Too many
performance.
McDonald's in Australia.
What the hell happened?
Yes,
Were
you
there?
were.
I was there. Well, I mean,
Wow.
Schoey talking down Austin and Hastings. I think Jake Connor made one carry in 5 metres on
Well, is it
Friday.
right
So
that-
would
is
you pick him for
I've not said Jake Connor to play stand-off for
Well,
Great
who
Britain.
plays? Who plays?
Well, can I
stand-up?
just ask you a question? Because Lee Radford
Winnip hasn't played anything for.
He was going to be fit, isn't he?
Lee
Listen,
Radford
I'm not having
wasn't
Aussies playing for
comment
Great
about
Britain.
Connor, would he? Is that
No,
right?
I mean he got taken off in the second half, and
I heard he got taken off before he got sent off.
What would he
yeah,
say?
he was moaning a lot at the referee. But to be honest, the whole team were very, very poor.
What the hell? Because I looked at the lineup, it was strong.
It was the best team they could put out. They're fully fit. I
He
mean,
won the
they
Western
gave
player.
Westman played. Yep.
Gareth Ellis was back.
He did go off in the first half with a nasty head cut, but he did come off the bench and but yeah, they gave away a really soft early try. Morgan Knowles basically just went past Albert Kelly like he wasn't there and took 2 players over the line, and then the second try I think was a kick. Now Longo tapped it back in the in goal, and one of the Saints players dived in it, and the third try was also from a kick. Snade fumbled it in the in goal, and Saints pounced. So there was 3 soft tries, 18 at half time, and then they scored 4 tries in about 10 minutes in the second half. I mean, St Helens didn't actually play that well. That's the scary thing. They were probably a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
14 out of 10 in the league weekly, that.
I think, like, you compare it to how they played against Warrington, you just...
Well, in the golf last week, Schoey got an 8 out of 10 then on the league weekly ratings. On the golf, should get them to do the reviews, like.
They are. I think they are saving themselves things. Last week against Leeds, or the other week against Leeds, whenever it was, I'm sure they just realised we won this. Don't need to bother now for a bit.
It's a dangerous game, but I just think all round Saints just look ominous at the moment.
So, well, I'll tell you what, they'll have to be.
Play any style.
Wait till it's revealed that they won't be playing at home in the semi-final. That'll derail them.
Even though
that'll make them.
They'll be 25 points clear, but they can't play.
They'll have to be at the best this week because that Wigan side, I'm telling you, very, very. They put a marker down.
First
they
Saints
put a marker down.
Wigan game that hasn't been televised since about 2005.
Well, the Leeds OKR game's more important. We're sick of seeing Saints and Wigan. Leeds OKR game's more important.
Yeah,
so I don't have a problem with that.
Well, there's a huge crowd there because it's not on the
And if there's not, then
I'd hope so.
Yeah. You're looking at the old podcast. What's
yeah,
that?
we're back in Luxembourg. We're
big in Luxembourg, are we?
Yeah. They're trying to go. We went up this week. We did well.
Very
It
good.
was a good week for the podcast.
All right. Very good.
Let's get in there. Tell all your friends.
Yeah. Or download it illegally on the phone so they get it anyway.
Yeah. Get money on Ian Watson, named next Leeds coach. Here's Andy. Where's your market?
Well, the number of potential candidates is running out.
What, Leeds?
He's still Tony Smith.
Do you reckon? You know Tony Smith. Reckon
What about him?
He'd end up at Headingley next year?
I doubt it. Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but...
Do you think he'll stay at OKR?
I think he probably will. I think he seems to be enjoying it. I mean, obviously it depends on the next 8 games.
I don't think he enjoyed it on Friday because they got absolutely battered.
Well,
I think,
was-
considering how they have played in recent weeks, it was quite a turn-up, wasn't it?
It was. They just met Wigan on a really bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest with you on that, OKR, the field position at times what they had, they were just pretty clueless. The halfbacks were pretty clueless in Maguire and Drinkwater, but they had opportunities in the first half and second half with the field position to put points on the board. But
Don't be criticising any halfbacks and hurting their feelings, please.
I'm not probably if I hurt anybody's feelings, whether halfbacks, front rows, full-backs or Aussies who want to play for Great Britain. It's as simple as that. But the desire for the Wigan defence were brilliant. But OKR, they got themselves plenty of good field positions. They if it had been against any other team apart from Wigan, with the defensive commitment they showed, OKR would have scored, I would say, maybe 4 or 5 tries.
Yeah,
they would.
I think that's the
They would. You know, so they wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. It was just that Wigan was sensational, both with ball in hand and defensive wise.
we know he's not going to
They
be the
were.
next OKR coach anyway, which is James Ford, according to the papers today.
Yeah, that's your story, isn't it,
You
John?
wouldn't rule that
We
out.
won't be going as assistant, yeah.
Well, were they not? Am I understanding it? I haven't read your article, so I apologise if you covered it. But it was my understanding they were in talks with him about him becoming the coach.
Yes, I believe they were, yeah.
And then Tony Smith went, I won't mind his job. And they went, all right, yeah, James, you fancy assistant? And he went, no,
Yeah.
thanks.
Well, I think
I'm all
obviously he's contracted to York, and they'd want a pretty hefty fee. But also, it's kind of that thing: you go into someone's number 2. Does that mean you're going to get the job eventually? Who
Well, I
knows?
don't know. I guess you could thrash those terms out.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I mean, I can see why he's decided to
Is
stay
it,
at York.
is it a brave call from Ford? We like him. We know him.
Yeah.
He's been on our show. He's a great coach. You know, we think he's going to be a great coach. There are only 12 jobs in effect better than the one he's got now. If you
Well,
turn
he's
him
full
one
time
down,
at York,
or,
so
Yeah.
yeah. But it's not turning a head coach job. It's a
But
it's
the
an
fact
assistant
of the
job.
matter is with James Ford, Ford is his own man, and
Yeah, I don't think he's suited to
No,
be an
no, he's
assistant.
not. No, I'm just going to say that, John. He's not an assistant coach. He's his own man. He likes to play the game in the right way from there. And when he decides he's ready, a Super League club will be snapping him up because he's getting certain tune out of his players. If he's up, the league tell you.
is he going to get a Saints gig or a gig at Leeds?
Why not? I'll tell you what, we'll be for sure for next year. You know, I know Rich is doing a good job at this moment in time, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have any objection James Ford being the next Leeds coach. None whatsoever.
Talking of coach movement, you reckon there's interest in Mr. Holbrook?
Well, that's an interesting one that you mentioned. I mean, there'd been reports in Sydney last week that Canterbury are quite keen on him, that Dean Pay's lost the dressing room, and Canterbury are quite keen on Holbrook. Obviously,
Where did he have it last?
Sorry?
Where did he have it last if he's lost it? Because that's what he's saying it. Where did he have it? I've lost my keys. Where did he have them last? I had them there. Yeah. Lost the dressing room.
Good luck telling Dean Pay.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess with him, but they are bottom of the NRL. Obviously, Holbrook coached there in the New South Wales Cup, and he's off contract. He still hasn't signed a new contract, so we're not that long left.
Do you think this is like the barber, where it was obviously was always going and no one ever said oh, and then he went anywhere?
It's hard to say because around Magic, I always heard that Gold Coast was a potential.
Yeah,
because I think the Gold Coast coach, as everyone knows, is on his way out.
That'd be good for Callum then. As soon as he gets there, the coach leaves.
I'm sure might do the rules.
Well, Garth Brennan hasn't shown a great love for English players under Sargentson and Joe Grenville, but I've also heard from someone else with Holbrook that they were close to thrashing out an extension. So it is really odd. But you think the longer it goes on without an announcement of a deal, the more likely perhaps he's going. He is a coach in demand. I think he's seen has been seen. He almost got the Newcastle Knights job a few years ago. You know, he's seen as the next sort of NRL coach in waiting. So
it'd be interesting then if he did move on. Does Richard Marshall step up and set the gig, or how does that work?
Well, I wouldn't have any objections now. Richard Marshall taking off sit-downs. I wouldn't. No. They're ambitious.
Does Ian Watson go to
They're ambitious. They've proved themselves with coaching from there, so I wouldn't have any problems with that. No, not at all. They've got to start somewhere.
No, exactly. You're right. I'm not.
Got to start somewhere.
Do we often see it? I don't know.
He's done a great job though. From where they were under Kieran Cunningham, just dreadful.
Awful.
Yeah, you got Cunningham sacked, and then
yeah. No, you know that Denise is having a pop at me about Marty Smith. You got Kieran Cunningham the sack, and you're not getting you're not getting slagged off for it.
Don't blame me.
Living in the past, apparently, Schoey, you are.
Don't blame me.
Living in the past.
Who
says that?
Let's have a go at Schoey.
Who says that? Who said I'm living in the past?
They're hurting your feelings.
I asked people what their highlights of the weekend were. Rose says the Bulls winning in Toulouse. Great win for the Bulls. I'm surprised they didn't melt because they had the excuses written already before that game for about 3 days. Luke says the Royal Navy versus the Great Britain Teachers game. It's the only game we've seen where a central winger played for 5 to 10 minutes with only one boot.
Lost his boot?
Yeah.
Sounds like State of Origin when Ben Hunt threw Boyd Cordner's boot into the yards and he played 5 minutes with one boot on.
So if you've got any highlights of the weekend, let's know. Sid says the final hooter at Wigan. Poor old Sid.
Sid was at Wigan, wasn't he? He was going to come and say hello, but he never did. Chicken. Oh, that's my fault. That's a bit rude.
North Leeds
Leopards
under 16.
That's Kieran Cunningham saying, yeah, you did get me the sack.
Yeah. I'm waiting outside. Right. Is there a back way out there?
Over the roof.
When's the transfer date? Is it end of August?
Beginning of August.
So.
Why? Who are you getting rid of?
No, Daniel was... apparently he's been listening to it. There are other Rugby League podcasts out there. As I always say, too many of the buggers. And apparently Warrington are in for a prop. I'll get John because he's a journalist.
Yeah.
I spoke to Carl Fitzpatrick today. I didn't ask him about that, but I mean, Warrington are always looking to improve. I mean, obviously they've got Lamatazi and Sidaleki Akwala, whoever he says his last name.
A koala.
Off contract at the end of the year, so whether they sign. But in terms of this year, you kind of wonder how or where they would fit him in. But obviously Luther Burrell played quite well apparently in his 20. No, you were there. Haven't seen any highlights yet.
Looked good with the ball. Got a good sidestep on him. You could see that. His play of the ball was dubious at best.
But that'll fit into Super League then, that's fine.
And he made a couple of good tackles. He did alright, but...
He was blown pretty hard.
He did alright, he did alright in a game that they'd won anyway.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, they had to defend their own line for 20 minutes in the second half, and that'll have done him some good. But I was with Tony Ray, and Tony Ray went, if you've got a big game next week, he's not playing and he's nowhere near your team. So... Look, it's his first game. Tell you what, you watched the video on Forty20 on the Twitter. What a fantastic young man! Oh, bloke he is. Spoke really well. Spoke about this is the lowest. I'm on the lowest rung of the ladder here. And you could tell the guys around him were pleased for him. At the end, they were ripping it. There were a lot of laughing and joking and ripping into him. And he knows he's got a long way to go. He's not pretending he's great. He knows he's got work to do.
Where did he fit in the centres?
Centre, yeah.
Because I saw that Blake Austin went off. I thought surely he'd be the
world's
biggest.
He went off near the end, and he had a lot of ice on his elbow as well. It looked like he'd maybe hyperextended it or something.
Warrington 36-0 up at half time. Were London that bad or Warrington that good?
No, Warrington were good, but didn't have to be great. And I think that's the worst 40 minutes I've seen under Ward.
Well, they were poor last week. Castleford the week before, to be honest with you. They were poor the week before as well.
They conceded a try. Warrington dropped the kick off. They dropped the ball on the first set 10 metres out from line. Warrington scored again. They dropped the kick off exactly the same place. Third tackle, Abdul kicks it. Like, what are you doing? Go up the other end and score. They got a couple of penalties against them. Warrington just went up, scored a couple of soft tries, I thought. 36-0. I think the one disappointment for Steve Price is they didn't kick on, but in fairness, London were better second half. But, at half time I'm thinking, this is it, this is what we're going to see. And then second half they come out and showed enough that, they'll still give their running. They won't chuck it in.
Jeff says we need to get some structure and stay on the topic. That's not how this programme works. Harry, about Warrington.
You need a script to do that.
I know, exactly. Gelling and Brand going to Warrington from Widnes, as has been rumoured, apparently.
Well, Gelling
has been rumoured to be going since he...
Well, he's got. He's not going to go part-time, is he? Let's be fair, at Widnes. Well done to them yesterday, by the way. Big win for them. Beating Rochdale.
Kev says, if Albert leaves Saints, we'll have to think long and hard about appointing someone from within. I don't want to go back to the dark ages of a Cunningham type, says Kev. Well, it won't be Sean Long at least, anyway. He's gone off to the Harley Quinn.
Yes.
At Forty20 Live on Twitter. We never read out any of the social media details anymore because everyone knows them. We're on Facebook.
You know where we're at.
We're on YouTube.
Just throw stuff at you. Tell you whatever you want.
Search at Forty20 and you'll find us. But make sure you like, subscribe, and leave reviews on iTunes so we can eventually one day compete with Matty John's podcast. So popular in this country, we don't know why.
Oh, why is it good?
I don't know.
I've only listened to a little bit of I've got a few of them downloaded. They're on the.
Is it better than By the Balls?
No, definitely not. But he tends to have Sam Burgess and those kind of guests. I think Sam Burgess was very good, wearing his Australian cricket shirt the other day, and Sam was quite open about his.
A bit of burn it on Thursday. Don't worry about that.
George Burgess got a future in the NRL.
I don't think he's got a future at South Sydney. I mean, I think he actually got for 9 games he got lucky because I gouged twice. I'm sorry, but you've all seen the footage. You can't defend that. And even worse, Shane Richardson coming out saying it's a tragedy. When a tragedy is Robbie Farah's eyes, I think he was on the air at South Sydney before that happened. I think Parramatta were interested. So
I've read his explanation from there. He said, "Well, I didn't mean to have my hands near his eyes." Well, it's your hand. You know what your hand is.
It's hard to tackle someone, by the eyebrow.
You know exactly where your hand is. You know where your fingers are. And I wasn't biting. To me, he should have got 12 months.
Well, that's the thing. In your day, and the people you were playing against, I think Les Boyd got 15 months. I think Steve Lennane, I heard, he might have got 20 weeks for eye gouging. However, in the future, we're more lenient on foul play now when we know about concussion. And
Chris Mortimer gouged me. Yes, it's not a nice
Steve's
feeling.
brother.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris Mortimer. Yeah, Chris Mortimer gouged me and went playing with Balmain against.
You probably deserved it though.
That's a bit harsh.
You were sledging him.
He only asked you to go to the bar.
But it's not.
So you played in that area of head highs and cheap shots and.
Gouging is the.
That's the lowest of the low.
It's the lowest of the low. I don't know what's gouging or being spat in the face. You know what I mean?
So if he comes back to Super League, well, he's never played Super League, but if he comes back to Super League, do we herald that as a good thing though? Even though he's come on the back of 2 blatant eye gouges in the last.
He'd have to prove himself. He's a good player, but he'd have to prove his character.
And he's a name too. He's a star. He's an England Test player.
Talking of injuries. Should we be worried about this story that's come out in the NRL that CTE has been identified in 2 NRL players that played over 150 games?
Definitely.
That a potential class action is now being considered by
3
Sydney lawyering firms.
Yeah.
The game could not afford to go through what the NFL has gone through, and these solicitors are going to allege that the sport didn't do enough, knowing that players were likely to suffer long-term effects of consistent knocks to the head. I mean, we've seen some players been forced to retire early. There's research ongoing. Players like James Graham, Peter Stillen are now going to donate their brains to medical science.
But that's not going to. I mean, with the best of the world, we're not going to know about the benefits of that for years.
Yeah.
But as should the sport be? Were you worried as a player of the cumulative effects of head knocks later in your life, or was it something you never even considered?
No, not considered, because listen, at the end of the day, we're playing a contact sport, and it's going to happen. I've depressed my cheekbone twice. I've been concussed 2 or 3 times on there. It's not very nice, but we're at a contact sport, and accidents happened. I depressed my cheekbone twice, and concussed with it, just by accident. I went to tackle a second rower low, he stuck his knee out and smashed my face in, and then we played York at Headingley in the premier round of the Challenge Cup, tackled their standoff, went around the hip area, caught his hip and smashed my face again, and as I said, I've been knocked. Mike Ketridge, he put me in hospital for 4 days, and we played at Cass, he came with the knees and knocked me out for 4 days from there, but unfortunately it's a contact sport and it's going to happen.
Well,
it's going to happen.
Have you got teammates though of your era who are maybe suffering from depression?
Nobody from our day complaining about loss of memory or headaches. Not that I'm hearing at the moment. No.
This is where we go back to the other week on Twitter and an ex-pro espousing and Schoey might agree with this, bringing back the shoulder charge. The problem is, and having to go at people who banned it, the people who ban these things are not doing it to take away your masculinity. They're doing it to try and make the game as safe as possible. We're in a world where boxing is legal and mixed martial arts are legal, in which the whole idea is to knock people out. Yeah. So it seems ridiculous that we're talking about this, but people are trying to make it as safe as possible, not to take away your masculinity, not to show us how hard you are. Mm-hmm. Let's face it, rugby league is about skill, not necessarily people bashing each other. If I want to see bashing people, I can go watch boxing or MMA or wrestling. So I'm not interested in hard men, I'm interested in people who are skillful, and we're trying to make the game as safe as possible for people out there. And
what do you see when you see a player gets dazed? You can tell. They get up, they're staggering over. What's the first thing they do when they're defending? They run back into the defensive. It's like they're drilled in, it's ingrained in them. You've just got to keep going. I compare it to soldiers. You keep going until you cannot, you're either dead or you're shot or whatever, you're blown up. And that's what they're like. That's what they're like. And if you left them to it, they'd stay on.
I think that's the issue about leaving them to it. Have we waited too long to bring in an HIA?
Today, I don't know about that.
I think that's going to be the legal issue.
There's been talk, a statement in Australia, I think, about reducing the 10 metres and tackling below the, there was mass uproar about that in rugby union. And they say, you can't tackle below the but they seem to have done it, and all these red cards have stopped. So the players have clearly got the message.
And the next step then is going to be, because as we know, from Craig Bellamy and Michael Maguire with his wrestling technique and wrestling coaches and getting 3 and 4 numbers in the tackle. So then if we are going to stop this, and then for me, then the next one is going to be can only be 2 men in the tackle.
Well, that was mentioned.
Short on the yardage and 2 men in the tackle. That'll make a massive difference to the game.
I agree with that.
I think when you talk about concussion and head knocks, and obviously rugby union are quite fearful of it. The problem is if you can have a direct link to CTE with rugby league or repeated concussion, because you mentioned boxing, and I think it's 3 months or 6, however months. They're concussed. They're quite hard on it. In rugby league, you concuss 1 week, you're back the next.
Yeah.
But the worry is the next generation. So if you're a mother or a father and you're seeing this ex-player, that ex-player, struggling with dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, do you say to your 5-year-old, here's a rugby league ball, go on? That's the concern. Because obviously participation in every sport is
I'm not convinced by that. I'm not convinced. I think if you say to a youngster you can earn 200 grand a year playing rugby, that's more of a I want to be a rugby player rather than I'm going to hurt my head. I don't think that's
it's more for the parents. Not for the individual.
As a parent, I don't know. My son never played rugby really, but he plays cricket. They've got to wear a helmet, can get it on the head. These things happen.
I don't think.
You look at what happened to the guy who's the batsman whose name escapes me.
Phil Hughes.
I don't think there's an issue.
That can happen.
The issue isn't going forward because I think we have protocols now, and they're only going to get tightened. So if you're a parent, you know that any injury your child is going to get, then there is a protocol to withdraw them from the field, and we are now acting in a way that we are protecting the players. I still think there are some issues where you clearly see guys who are on the field that shouldn't be on there. Or there are guys that go down with what looks like a head knock that don't go off for an HIA. So I think there's a little bit of tweaking we need to do on that. But this is more about historically. Did we do enough in the days where attacking the head was acceptable to protect players who in later life are now struggling?
I think
there is a fullback that I watched that played in the 70s for Castleford who now is part of a dementia group. He's not the only one. And I would hate it to think that because of the rules that were applied when we were watching the sport in those days, it hastened what he is now going through. And the worry for the sport is if lawyers do find that is true, that could bankrupt the sport.
Well, yeah, it could do. But you look at football; they've had the Jeff Astle findings, and they've done nothing about it. You look now; I've seen it, and I've mentioned it a dozen times more. You see a player clash heads, blood everywhere, like guys like stick a bandage on, you straight back on, and you think that cannot be. That's not right.
And that's going to change.
And they do it. Yeah, well, it's going to change, but you're going about getting so. Well, they've known this now, and they still haven't changed the rules. I think with Rugby League, I think they will shorten the thing. You look at the kick-off when there's one guy running from the halfway line, there's one guy running from the goal line, and you look at those collisions every week. That must be the toughest carry or the toughest tackle in Rugby League. And why is it? Because they both get 25 yards to run at each other and bray the hell out of each other. I think that needs shortening.
The sport's hard enough when it's accidental, as we've said. I don't know if you've not seen Danica Prim of Leeds get battered by Chantal Kroll of St Helens, who has the hardest head in Rugby League. Batting walks off. No, it's her. I'm telling you.
You didn't get offended, did you, when your friend got hit?
No.
Sure?
I don't know who I want to win the final. Because, I don't like Castleford, I don't like Leeds.
You don't know. Hold on. You don't know you want to win the final. Well, you try to get kids thrown out of it.
So you do know who you want.
So you do know. You want Wakefield to win.
Terry's a Cass fan. He was there yesterday because he took some great pictures. I've seen him on social media. And this kind of segues into what we're saying there. Is there any excuse? See, there is a plan. Is there any excuse for a player not being sin-binned in a televised game with multiple replays of incidents that subsequently received bans? Brackets, and Phil knows what's coming. Brad Singleton's late hit to Liam Watts' head.
I haven't seen that.
It was late.
What has happened whereby the video referee used to always be, I've seen it, right, you're going in the bin. It doesn't happen now. And there was one the other night, I thought it might have been at Salford, and you think, he's good, he's going to sin bin him here. And he didn't happen. You think, why have they not picked up on that?
Yeah, that's poor.
Has there been a change there or not?
I think they have tried to peel back the interference in the video referee because it's obviously a controversy. But when it's blatant foul play like that, all it takes is a word in the ear and say,
is that the one?
For staff,
Yeah.
I
couldn't remember which one it was.
But
I think, you made a great point about are we strict enough, or do we, how do we look back at stuff? There's foul play every week, and I know Hudgell had his moan the other week, and I had a bit of a pop at him because I thought you're after timing really, because his player got banned, it were an issue for him. I think there's too many examples of players getting injured and nothing being done. I know Wake have had a few. Ulker have obviously got a couple there concerned. I no doubt all the clubs, if you said right, they would come up with a list and say, well, that one, we're not happy about it. And then it needs to be better policed, I think. I think it needs to get really harsh on foul play.
I was at Hunslet Newcastle yesterday, and the amount of high shots, and a lot of it was just niggle, but that just was building that the referee did nothing about, was amazing. Yeah. And then you get a couple of fights and that sort of thing, because that's what happens if you don't. If you don't reel that in, it just builds and builds. Yeah. So we do have to be harder on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like the old bring back the biff and all that. Let's be fair. One of our colleagues got assaulted, and look what it's happened to him. We should not be condoning anyone hitting anyone, and let's bring back the biff is ridiculous.
They want to be hard.
It is. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. I don't want to see it. I want it to be a tough game, but not like that. And I think we need to clamp down on stuff. And I think if you're right in what you say about the concrete, you need to just say, right, from now on, if you throw a punch on purpose, you're getting banned for 6 weeks. You'll stop it.
But then a lot of these wannabe hard men in Rugby League aren't even anything of the sort. But the hardest ones are the ones who just get on with their job.
Yeah. I think hard now is making you 50 tackles and you 20 carries. That's how we should be judging hard people, not going around brain folk off the ball And another one, I think it's gone away a little bit, is attacking the kicker. I think that has gone a little bit, but again...
Well, that's creeping in a bit though, Matt, to be honest with you, and it's not getting punished. It's creeping in a bit.
Yeah, it is. Maybe.
It's creeping in a bit. It is.
I think it's more the playmakers getting hit when they've taken the ball on and passed the ball. How late, and they're not expecting to
But
hit.
Again, there's been people have been cited, that's been flagged up on people numerous times, same people. Never a ban. Never a ban. It's like the old, dangerous contact, we'll let you off, don't do it again.
Well, we haven't defined what dangerous contact is, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah. So maybe we need to look after the players a little bit.
Well, I think one thing the whole topic about concussion is going to do, it is going to highlight player welfare.
Yeah.
Retrospectively, it is still a worry that we don't want to see anybody in later life suffering the effects of playing the game. I get that it's almost like they sign a disclaimer by agreeing to play in the first place. It's like you get in a Formula 1 car, you know there's a chance that you might not ever get out of it, but the fact that you get in it is your tacit approval that you understand the mechanics, literally and metaphorically.
Well, it's the old bungee jump, but you have to sign your life away when you do it.
And I also think
it might go wrong.
if our rules were wrong, and it was down to us to change those rules to protect players in a different era, and they are now suffering as a result of that, we are liable.
Well, you made a great point. You know, we are now getting to the end of the first batch of fully professional Super League, and we're seeing players injured and can't walk and all that. So
we have to be.
You've got to react to that, I think, now.
Talking of referees, very briefly.
Yes.
Just like to pay massive tribute to the referee of the Under-16 Cup final yesterday.
Is this because your team won?
No, I'd just like to pay tribute to the referee.
How many penalties did you get?
Was no, he was even-handed.
How many penalties did you get?
We didn't count the penalties. I suspect there were.
Did you win the penalty count?
He was. Well, I don't know. He was.
Yes, you do. Did you win the penalty count, Phil? We don't sit on the fence on this show. Did you win the penalty count?
If we did, it's because the other team
was it a youngster or
if we did.
He was a young guy who had the utmost. I mean, it was potentially a difficult game to control because again, it was two teams that had played in the same final last year, and it got a bit tasty. His signals were brilliant. The way he talked to the players was brilliant. He was even-handed across every decision he made. He was consistent. He penalised both sides for moving off the mark. So, but I don't know what his name was. But
you should have found out.
Whoever I shook him by the hand at the end, and as he went up to get his medal. I'm sure we can find it out. Whoever refereed the Under-16 Cup final at Batley yesterday, you are a star in the making.
Did you win the penalty count?
No, that's good.
Well,
I like that. Well
I think in the second half we probably had more possession.
If only you'd have asked his name, we could have thanked him.
Is he available for
next week, I will find out his name.
Make sure you do. Half a job.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Half an E Kaplan, half a job Kaplan.
Daniel's asked, did you see the late hit on Austin by London? That saw him go off.
Is that? Yeah. Well. Yeah. I thought he went off with his arm though, didn't he? Not his head. It was his arm that was the problem. I'm surprised he was on the field as long as he was, by the way. Someone asked me earlier, was I taking the mickey out of Witness beating Ross? No, important win for the club. Absolutely important win. No,
they were in danger of being dragged into the
they lose that game.
If they'd lost.
They lose that game, he's still a point above the bottom. No chance. No, it was not being sarcastic.
I don't think we've missed much outside of Super League that we needed to mention.
What was Newcastle like? Because Newcastle obviously coming up on the rails. Schoey told us that wasn't the greatest standard, Whitehaven and Oldham. Newcastle, could they get promoted this year?
Yeah, I think they could. They weren't great in the first half, but they just dominated the second half. I mean, Hunslet couldn't really get out of their half. And they've obviously got some very good players, Newcastle. They've invested a lot of money. They're not, I don't think they're going to sweep it, but I think the question is if they don't get promoted, what happens? Because they have invested a lot of money. They've got Simon Finnegan as coach and Dennis Betts as director of rugby, and at least two ex-NRL players, recent NRL players on their books. So, they did. There's some nice, did some good things.
We were going to ask Schoey what he thought about the situation at Keighley, but I think we've run out of time.
Yeah, you'll be upset.
No, one word, a joke.
That's 2 words.
What? I ain't been rude. Roll. I ain't been rude. Have you just mentioned Phil Ladd?
Well, I was.
Right.
I was.
No, has it just been? Sorry, I was reading something.
I was intimating.
Oh, right. To steer.
And to Tony, sorry, no, the legend hasn't seen the biscuits because they're over here.
Right. Tim Steer, our colleague,
yes,
has written this interview up. Right. It's what you miss
Cougars this evening
in your life that annoys you, said Larder. My son David plays cricket. His son plays cricket on the nights that we train. So I was missing that. My 3 granddaughters came to tea one night and I couldn't see them because I was over in Keighley. I didn't realise how important all the things were, and so I was missing them. What, is that not the worst excuse ever? Right, I'm not being rude, right? That is, Phil Larder, the worst excuse I have ever heard, right? I acknowledge the reasons.
Oh, we know Schoey.
But you would have known that when you took the job. Oh, so-and-so plays cricket. I'm sure the wife went, well, David or whatever plays cricket. We go, what's them? Yeah. They come over. That is absolute crap. That is crap. I'll tell you what, we laughed at that decision and we're laughing at it now. Well done, Keighley. You've just sacked a bloke that tipped his guts into the club. And you got another guy who thought was better and he's walked out.
The ceramic,
What's the mark? Rich, I'm just going to give it from
You're alright there, you're alright. How many did you put in at
One
once?
section at once.
How many did you put in at once?
Enough to start sweating.
The guys who took over from Keithley, they're an absolute joke as well. I can tell you that for nothing. And I say, sacking a lad like Craig Lanyard, who was still there with all the adversity what went on with Steve Gill and that Shane Spencer. This lot had a complete joke from there. And I know exactly what's going on because I spoke to people at Kids regarding the Phil Larder situation from there. And yes, I totally agree. That excuse what he has come up
pathetic.
with. Correct. Absolutely
It's
pathetic.
Gary. I'm not. What an you know what I mean? What an excuse. I can't. But I read it. I was laughing, thinking, "Is this actually gone out as an official statement?"
Phil Larder was dubbed the Sir Alex Ferguson of rugby.
By who?
By
Phil Larder.
by Mick O'Neill.
Mike O'Neill. Yeah.
Fergie won loads of things, didn't he? I remember.
Is that like Billy, Greg Eden, the English Billy Slater?
The people who are in Keithley are an absolute joke.
Well, yeah. I just think there. I think they've got what they deserve there by getting rid of Lingard. They were doing all right at the start of the year. There was no reason to make that change.
Can I say, because I know I am anti-Keithley because I've been accused of it.
Anti-Keith, what are you trying to get them kicked out as well?
We love Cougars, but...
Yeah, but what about the Keithley Cougars?
Dear.
That's what we're thinking to listeners.
We just killed someone on the podcast. Someone just died.
We're getting on the Rugby League
Can't even stop it ringing.
Free Sports is going HD. We want a part of it. Good luck to them this weekend because having a big Pride event to try and get people to go watch West Wales Raiders. So hopefully they get a load of people down there. Katie Price is going to be there.
That just tells you what a joke it is. What does Katie Price know about rugby?
She's playing on the wing.
Well, this video
She's
tag was
coaching the
explicit
team
on Facebook, but I'm not going to do the joke about Schoey and the last time he was at the Cougars and his comparison with Katie Price. And Randy Chase, good luck to him. He's coming back.
What do you mean by comparison with Katie Price? What comparison is that?
I don't know. It's what people describe you as.
Right, let's move on.
Can I? I'm not sure if you mentioned it before I came in, but me and Phil were talking earlier. I mean, Wayne Bennett said that if Kevin Walters goes, he wants the Queensland job next year. Would that be the record? South Sydney, England, Great Britain.
How many jobs does he want?
Well, that's what I mean. 4 jobs he wants.
And he's a young bloke.
What,
so
does he not watch his grandkids play cricket?
Does he not want to be at home? What's wrong?
Yeah.
How many jobs does he want, Wayne Bennett?
Well, that would be 4 at the same time. Yeah.
How would he coach?
Well, he's got the nines coach as well. He's a nines. Great.
Oh yeah, sorry,
He's got the
5.
nines.
Yeah.
How would he?
Nines in
How would he
Great
coach
Britain.
Queensland in Origin and be in England for our mid-season international test?
What
on that
mid-season
same
Is he that
weekend?
good? He can be in 2 places.
It's alright, we ain't got one, don't worry.
We'll have next,
we've got to
we'll
move
have
on.
next year.
We've got to move on. It's nice to have someone on the show that actually does well with the predictions. So John's here too. We're trying up our average.
I was alright last week. What about the Wigan fans?
Hull KR by 10.
What
They
about-
were abusing him. We were live on national radio and they were abusing him on air.
They did that yesterday when they mentioned it.
Who did?
A national radio station mentioned how poor you were at tipping.
Oh.
Did they? Oh, that's very good. I'll send some flowers by way of thanks. Hull FC against London Thursday night. John Davidson.
I don't think Hull could be as bad as they were on Friday. Radford was pretty blunt without naming specific players. He was pretty scathing. So I think expect a big response from Hull. I think Hull by 14.
Yeah, Randall's want the reaction more, certainly from the last 2 performances, to be honest with you, from there. And London, yeah, they're just on a bit of a downslope out there. They know the fixture is from there, and yeah, it would be a tough time. And I don't think this will get any better. You know, they weren't very good at Cass, they weren't very good for the first 40 minutes this week against Warrington. Randall's wants a reaction, he'll get one. I'll go the black and whites by 36.
Wow.
I think London.
That's a hell of a reaction.
London are in what Danny Ward has self-acknowledged they will have a little bit of a dip at the moment. I just think the problem for them is that some of the key players that have caused such havoc in the games that they've won just aren't hitting that level at the moment. It's a shorter turnaround for them as well. They played the day after Hull did. I can't see London winning this week. I think they probably do have some bigger battles.
Got back-to-back home games, Saints and Salford to come.
Yeah, I will go Hull as well, and I think they'll win by 22.
That's exactly the number of it. Hull will win this one, but it will be interesting to see how London do bounce back from that one Hull have got more to play for in terms of that run for the top three. London, they've got to pick their wins in the right place now, haven't they? Or pick their games in the right place. And I don't think this is one they can go on and win, which means they will go on and win now. But I'm still sticking with Hull. I've no idea what I'm saying. Hull by 22.
Okay, I made a resolution about a month ago on this show that when you all agree on one, I'm just going to go for the opposite.
Right.
Oh, you can't on this one. No way.
And I've never done it. And then last week I said to you, we all went for. I forget who we all went for last week.
Yeah, we all went for
Salford.
No, but Mark,
you're
you're a respectable journalist. You're a respectable pundit. You can't go for London on this one, even though we've all gone for Hull. Can you?
I'm with Phil. I think the worry I've got for London, and I asked Danny Ward about the mental high having been 3 wins and they've had 2 poor performances on the back. They've got to have a dig this week. It's as simple as that. I do expect that they get beat, but just on the new rule that you've all agreed, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go London by 2.
Bonkers.
There you go. I have to say I agree with that.
At least one of us will be right.
Huddersfield against Catalans, John Davidson, Friday night.
Well, I tipped Salford last week, and I think I tipped Wakefield. So I probably would say Huddersfield. Just the effort that they put in. Those young players really, caught the eye. Catalans, great win for them, but again, away from home, you never really know which Dragons are going to pick up. And I think Huddersfield still need to keep picking up wins to push themselves out. So I would say Huddersfield by 10.
Yeah, both coaches got a reaction last week, didn't they? And they made big calls. They dropped Frawley, or Fromley, whatever they call him, at the Giants. And Martin Smith got dropped to the Catalan Dragons. Well done to the 2 coaches. Wanted a reaction. And they got it. And so the Catalan Dragons, I just feel as though the forward pack will be too big and too good for the Giants, to be honest with you, from there. And Martin Smith dropped. You'll be happy again, Denise, to be honest with you, from there. Catalans are moving forward. I don't think there'll be much in it. I'm going Catalans by 7.
7?
Really interesting, this one, because I don't think there is a form line in it at all. I wouldn't have picked the Huddersfield Revival last week by the magnitude of it. Had they sneaked a 1918 Golden Point drop goal, maybe, but they absolutely obliterated Salford with a refreshing brand of rugby with a mainly young team. And again, so we talked to Matty English today, that they're confident. They think that was an important result for them and that it justified a lot of the hard work that they've been doing. I think they can win. I've just got a feeling that the manner in which the Dragons played is the start of their revival. They've had their slump. They had a really bad month, and they know that they just clawed them back into the 5. They could quite easily be out of the 5 again this week if they don't win, and for that reason I'm going to go with the Dragons by 4.
Huddersfield were sleepwalking their way into relegation last week, but now they're back. How much of that Catalans win was down to how bad Wakefield were? How much of Huddersfield win was down to how much Salford were bad? I'm going to just side with Huddersfield narrowly. Huddersfield by 4.
Huddersfield, the bravery of youth, if you like. They clearly, the young guys don't care. They're not frightened of anyone. They have a go. But I'm with you, Phil. I think the Dragons turned a corner last week. They're going to get a big physical presence in their face, Huddersfield, and those young guys are good. They're going to have to be even better this week, and I'm not sure beating Salford after they've just lost one of their best players and it's announced that half the squad's going is as great an achievement as it could be. That said, Catalan beating Wakefield, probably not the greatest achievement either. I think the Dragons will win it. I think they'll win by 14. Leeds Hull KR, big game of the weekend. It's got to be, it's on the telly.
Another tough one. I just think Hull KR, I think... is that right? They've got a great record against Leeds in recent seasons. Or they've beaten them twice already this year, I think. And they need a win.
1-1.
1-1. Okay. Well, doesn't sound as good. But no, I just think, Mitch Garbutt going back, Danny Maguire.
If he's fit.
I just think Hull KR they'll turn up this week. Maybe they didn't against Wigan, but I think they'll get the win by 2.
Yeah, certainly. Tony Smith will want a reaction from his players from there, and okay, will come at Reading. They'll come at Reading, don't they? From there, and I just feel as though Richie Agar's getting a tune out of his players, and certainly Mirren's taking off the captaincy from there, and he's setting the the example. Parcell coming back to Leeds here, he's so much looking forward to. We know what he did on his debut for the Rovers from there. Could have ex-Leeds players, but I just feel as though Leeds, the confidence what they've got at this moment in time, be a great atmosphere, be a good crowd. I'm going to Rhinos by 10.
What I'm really looking forward to more than anything is the atmosphere in the ground. I think it's going to be absolutely rocking. Hull KR always turn up with a great following, a loud following. I don't think there's anything between these two teams at the moment at all. The obvious ex-Leeds contingent is going to be a factor. They're going to be incredibly highly motivated, but no one more so than Tony Smith. He'll get a magnificent reception. And he'll know exactly what it takes for his team to win this game. I think it's going to be incredibly close. But I just think the defence that I've seen from Leeds in the last 2 weeks, particularly against sides that were fighting for the 5, will stand them in good stead, and I'm going to go Leeds by 4.
I'm going to go Leeds as well. You can see what Robert Louis adds to Leeds in terms of putting him alongside Richie Myler, allows Richie Myler to do the things he does well, and Rob Louis does the things he does well. It's interesting what happens with Matt Parcell, isn't it? Why are they? I don't know. Anyway, bizarre. But Leeds will have too much for Hull KR and pretty much disappointingly secure their life in Super League for next season. And they will win by 6 points.
So you three have gone for Leeds.
He's gone for Hull KR.
Yeah, but he's not a regular.
No, but he's
the
probably more accurate though.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say that, he's an Aussie.
Hull KR were blown away. We were there on Friday. They got blitzed by a very good team. I did say on this show 3 weeks ago I think Leeds would win their next 3 games. They've won 2, which means I automatically think they should win this week. But Hull KR will fancy this, and they have to bounce back from last week because they got blitzed. And it also consider that many points has put them in trouble at the bottom in points difference world as well. I think it'd be really high scoring. Leeds beat Cass. Cass not in great form, and they only just beat Cass.
Breaking news: Jackson Hastings will join Wigan for the 2020 season, just announced by Salford.
There you go.
I wish we'd predicted that earlier.
Yeah, I thought you were going to die.
I
I thought you were like the.
Sorry for reminding you. This will sound great, but people.
So Salford have announced it, not Wigan.
Salford. Well, I don't know if Wigan have announced it as well.
We've just seen it on the Salford.
Is he wearing a Wigan shirt or holding a Wigan
Kissing the
scarf?
badge.
Yeah.
No wonder he wasn't at that thing today.
Yeah.
Yeah, being busy. Hull KR, I think will come and throw it around. Leeds, they beat Catalan, played Catalan at the right time, bang out of form, away from home. Catalan give them 18 start and lost by 19 in the end, so that tells you everything. I'm going to go Hull KR. I think it'd be really high scoring. I'm going Hull KR by 2.
They announced it at the same time.
Very good. St Helens Wigan, John Davidson.
Yeah, I know Wigan have won. Is it 4 in a row?
5.
Yeah, they're obviously improving.
Big 3 weeks. They've got Hull away and Saints away in the next 3 weeks.
They haven't really beaten anyone of any note, in my opinion. I think St Helens is still way above them. So I can't see anything but a St Helens win by 16 points, to be honest. I think St Helens will know it's a traditional rival. They'll be up for this, and they'll put them to the sword.
Yeah, there certainly won't be much in this, considering I say we was there last week watching the Warriors against Hull KR, and with ball in hand, defensive wise, the commitment, the philosophy, it's sensational. The Wigan Warriors of old, and Adrian Lamb now seems to have got a smile on his face. The players themselves have got a smile on their face, and St Helens, they're firing very well, and Holbrook is picking men on the same side. So this should be an absolute crack. I'm looking forward to it. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I think I've got to stick with Saints. The form that they're showing, but I don't think this will be a cakewalk, and it won't be easy. But I'll go for Saints, and I'll just go Saints again by 7. I don't think there'll be much in it. I don't.
This won't be dissimilar to the Warrington Saints game of a couple of weeks ago. There'll be nothing in it early on. The 2 sets of forwards will belt the living bejesus out of each other, and then in the latter stages, Saints' extra class in attack might just be the difference. So I think Saints will win. I'm going to go Saints by 6.
Saints as well. And I still think Wigan will win the grand final. Maybe I'll change my mind on Friday after they get hammered. Saints will win. And how far away are they from clinching the league leadership? Must be just a couple of weeks away now. They will win comfortably enough by 10.
Saw Wigan last week. I think Wigan put a notice down that come the playoffs, if they play like that, it'll take a good team to beat them. And with John, they're on an upward trend, but this is the biggest test for a while. I think Saints are flying at the minute. I think Saints will win. I don't think there'll be a lot in it, because I think Wigan's defence.
Haven't we all gone by Saints? You have to go for Wigan.
So is that it? All right, well, I've got to go by Wigan then. No, that's right. Yeah, so we can't all be wrong. I'll go. I'm going to get none at this rate.
It's your rule.
I'm going Wigan. No, you're right. Sorry, you're right. I've got to follow the rule. That's it. Yeah, all right, Wigan. I think Wigan will win. I'm going to go Wigan by 1. There you go. You let that bit out and it'll look great.
Not convinced.
No, look, the way they played last week, if you give me that performance on Friday, they won't be far away.
And then everyone will moan that it wasn't on telly.
Wakefield, I've got a golden point. Yeah. Wakefield against Castleford.
I'm at this game, so it's the biggest game of the round, and two teams not in great form. Castleford have got a great record against Wakefield in the last 3-4 years. I think they'll probably just have a little bit too much for their local rivals, and Cass by 8.
Yeah, two teams are lacking form, aren't they? But watching Wakefield Trinity last week, gutless performance. Simple as that. There's no other explanation for it, to be honest with you. Cass maybe lacking a bit of confidence, lacking creativity, lacking quality half-backs. So you would say they've not got a lot going for them, to be honest with you, from there. But I just feel as though they've got a bit more quality. Don't Wakefield got at this moment in time. Big players are out of form, and I think for Wakefield to get feet for feet now, he needs to stop being a nuisance. He needs to make sure that instead of complaining to referees, complaining to players, complaining to every Tom, Dick and Harry, just go hard and straight and direct. Do the creativity what you do, not scoring tries but also creating tries. But no, you're a nuisance. And I think at this moment in time, too many Wakefield players, big players, are out of form. And I'm going Cass by 10.
Can someone tell Wigan that you don't have to release all the news at once?
Go on then.
So like Adrian Lamb has signed a new deal, great, right, 5 minutes later. Jackson Hastings has signed excellent. George Williams is leaving, right, why do you tell us?
They finally announced that.
Spread it over.
Yeah. Well, they've got first refusal on him when he comes back.
Has he already signed a marquee contract with not actually signing a marquee contract?
Like
John Bateman.
You haven't said where he's going.
The NRL.
Really?
It's not loaded up yet, but I assume it's
St George of the Warriors, isn't it?
Gold Coast.
Wakefield and Cass, I think in mitigation for getting this wrong, we don't know what the 19s are, and
it doesn't matter.
And that could be important.
Phil, stop making excuses and give us a prediction.
But I think if Brough and Fifita are out, that again lessens the chance, I think, of Wakefield coming back from the south of France and winning. If Cass get the amount of ball that they did last Friday, I think they'll be better than they were. So I'm going to go Cass by 10.
According to some, Wakefield's number 1 is the best player in the squad and should be given a lifetime contract because he's got passion and desire and loves the club. So I'll be signing a new contract as well soon for the club. Can't wait to start playing. I'm going to go for Wakefield because I have to. If we'd have tipped the women's semi-finals, I wouldn't have gone for Wakefield. Just a point now. Castleford were dreadful. As John mentioned, they have a good record against Wakefield recently, but they had a good record against Leeds, and they weren't very good. I know they've got a half-back back this week, so at least that's a positive for Cass. But I'm going with Wakey anyway, I don't care. And we'll win by 6.
This is the two clubs isn't it, at the minute?
It's the Meh derby.
That's why I'll be selling it on the radio on Friday.
I think if Wakey are missing a couple of key players, no Fifita, no win for me. Not doing enough at the minute. Brough's absence, if it is an absence, might be a positive. We don't know, but we will see. I think Cass will just about have enough. I'll go Cass by 8. Right, we need to skate on with these. There's only one left. Warrington Salford. Salford did win at Warrington early in the season.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. I think Warrington, they need to keep pushing upwards. They showed that against London. Whether they rest a few players or not, I think Salford won't get near them. Warrington by 16.
I've got to agree with John, to be honest with you. I say Salford, every Tom, Dick and Harry's leaving, Watson's asking his players for full commitment, full desire, before they go. But boy, oh boy, how can he manage that dressing room when everybody's leaving? How are they going to give it 100% when they know they're playing everywhere from there. Warrington want a bit of revenge what Salford did to, I think it was Easter weekend, wasn't it, when
Easter Monday, I think,
when they turned them over, and they'll carry on that good form for the first half against London. I think this will be easy for Warrington. I'm going Warrington by 24.
We said last week that we couldn't really fully predict the relegation battle because a team was going to go on the slide, and some team that was already involved in it would probably start winning enough matches to be looking up the table rather than down. I thought it was going to be Huddersfield that were the team on the slide. I have a feeling now after watching last Thursday it could be Salford. I just think Robert Louis, they're not a one-man team, but if that's your heart, it's been ripped out of them. And I think the fact now that there is some uncertainty about next year, what shape they're going to look like, I think that is affecting the mood and the squad there, and I have absolutely every sympathy for Ian Watson, who I don't know how he's held it together for so long, but I think after this weekend Salford could be in a bit of trouble.
Salford have to win in London in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That is a must-win game.
But I don't think they can win this week, and I think they'll lose by 24.
It's a good job this programme's coming to an end, otherwise we'd run out of Wigan news. Dan
You bet.
Salford's leaving.
Is he? He's got Salford, isn't he?
Is he?
I don't know. You better pick Salford, by the way, because I'm not picking that.
You can pick Warrington, you can pick whatever you want. Warrington, they're any good. I've seen them on the telly and everything. And Salford, bloody hell, they were terrible, weren't they?
Yes.
Oh, dearie me. And we all were massively interested in Salford to win that game. Just sticking to women's rugby now, it's easier. Warrington by 18.
My worry is Blake Austin. I reckon he might not play. He did go off with an arm injury, and it was heavily iced
Would you
up.
not rest him?
Yes, this is a
yeah.
game.
Well,
that-
I said I would have rested him at
London, yeah.
Like, you know, but then someone made a good point. Who are they going to play at half-back?
Is Kevin Brown? He's not fully fit.
No.
He's not ready. So who would they play? That is a
With Ratchford injured,
With Ratchford out, they've
he
got a
would be
problem,
the
haven't
next,
they?
Yeah.
So can they leave him out?
You
I don't
could probably
know.
play Patton and Levette.
Is it okay?
He's okay.
You couldn't play him then, yeah. That would be a problem.
Ben Curry, maybe. I don't know. Curry, I don't know.
He's not got the.
Yeah,
Ben Murdoch must
it'd be
have-
a very functional
That's it.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is
Daryl
it. That
Clark?
is. Yeah, and maybe play
Play Walker.
Davis
Walker
or
or
Walker.
Davis. Yeah. So that might be where they need to go. That would be a concern. Didn't like what I saw at Salford. How many times can you keep drawing from the well? Come on, lads, Band of Brothers. Not happening. I think if Austin plays, I think Warrington will win by 46 points.
So you're going Salford then, under the new rules?
No, I'm not. I'm abandoning that. I can't. I'm not having it for Salford.
You're gonna
By the time the game's played, Salford have probably sold all their team.
You're going to do what
Will
the
be playing.
Championship chairman have done and change the rules midway through the
Possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Watson's
I'm going to have a vote on it
Yeah.
later, but I'm not going to let you know who I'm voting for. Right, that's it. We're done. Want loads of reviews of the podcast. Nice ones, preferably, if you don't mind. Our thanks to John Davidson for making one in. I hope Australia gets stuffed on Thursday, mate. I really do.
Yeah.
Thanks to Gary for bringing his trophy. Look after it, Gaz. Well done.
Is the knob off the top falling off?
It's brought. It
It
wasn't
won't.
on.
It won't.
I actually had. I thought the Belle Isle lads might have nicked it, so I did take a picture when he won it, and I've confirmed it wasn't on when he got his hands on it, so he hasn't broken it. Thanks to Phil as ever. Thanks to you. Thanks to Rich.
New
for-
4020 this week.
New 4020 this week. 8 years old. So if you've never bought it, buy it. Buy it for Phil. Buy it for Phil.
Right, for Phil.
Sexy
Right,
cover
He's
too.
got a
daughters.
family to look after.
Some people love
Shop
Wayne
to
Bennett,
run.
so to some this will be almost
Just-
top shelf material.
Just Gemma Carter.
Yeah, and that's it. We're back. We're back next week. We'll see you then.